Just kidding, huh?
I hit the wrong one. Here we go. Welcome to Game Changer Weekly. John, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing fantastic. We've got Effie's raid that just happened. We have 2 special guests with us tonight. How you doing so far, man?
I am doing good. And yes, as we have one of the stars from Backyard Wrestling 4 with us, Lil Skittlez. How are you doing tonight again, man? Just so you know, you're on mute. One too many chair shots.
I did not really. Yep. What's up, guys? How you guys doing?
Doing all right, man. Thank you for hopping on. And then we also have Nate Miller, who was also at the Backyard Wrestling Show, and we tried getting him on the fan block party a couple weeks ago, but we have space for him tonight. So, Nate, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. How you guys doing?
Fantastic. It's been pretty crazy. You could see how our show started a little for a second there. So just getting ourselves back up and rolling, man.
Absolutely.
I had the YouTube open up on one side, so like the video ended on here, but then it started again on YouTube, so I was a little flustered there. But yeah, we got back on track now. Here we go.
Perfect. So I'll jump right into it here. And some of these are very obvious answers here. Have both of you been to this backyard before?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I've been to the backyard.
Yeah.
So what were your thoughts on the vibe on this show? Like, how was the food? How were the people? I know it was hot, but what were your experiences?
I mean, obviously Skit was wrestling, but I always have a good time. The atmosphere, I mean, it's a very intimate atmosphere. I mean, it's more of the, the people that always go to the East Coast shows, obviously, or that can make the East Coast shows. But obviously there's some people that come a ways to go. But, I mean, the food's always good. I mean, it's hot dogs, hamburgers, subs, whatever. But, I don't think anybody's really worried about that. I think they're more worried about watching the wrestling and vibing with the people, But that's always been my vibe going to there, whether it's where it's been years past or new venues. It's always about the vibe and, basically getting to see friends you don't get to see all the time,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really get the feeling there that it is just one big family, or at least small families, loosely interconnected by GCW.
Yeah. I mean, everybody gets along for the most part. I've never seen an issue anywhere at any GCW show or backyard or anything. So, like I said, everybody just vibes,
What was there to eat? Fat guy talking.
Cheeseburgers,
hot dogs, hamburgers, Jersey Mike subs. I think that was basically my favorite thing. That was brought by our friend who usually brings them every year, though. So, but yeah, Jersey Mike subs, hot dogs, hamburgers. It's like, and when certain people tell you to eat you eat. You don't tell them not you're not hungry. So some
Right?
big old guys telling you to eat a hot dog.
Yeah,
Big guys telling you to eat
911
a hot
always
dog.
make
You eat a
sure
hot dog.
everybody
You know
eats.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're
Skittle,
not going
what
to
was
turn
the
down some people.
what was the pre-match meal?
Oh, I was so in my head, bro. I was just like, yeah.
He
There
was
no
just having his greens.
There was no, yeah. John Wolf knows what's up.
Yeah, he's just making sure he gets his vegetables in before he goes out there.
Mhm.
So, all right. Yeah. GCW's Backyard Wrestling 6. The show opened on air with their live new video package. It looks great. They follow up with a huge backyard wrestling highlight reel comprised of crazy spots here we go tonight, guys. I should start. From the previous 5 backyard shows, fans were, like we were saying here, treated to a full barbecue. It was a very nice touch. We go live with Bruce Springsteen's Born in the USA playing over the speakers. We have Matt and Big Vin in the ring lighting up our pyro, gingerly trying to get out without knocking anything over. They had 2 fountains last year to start the show. We had 5 fountains this year. That's 150% more fireworks, and that's 150% more excitement. Brett was yelling, "Take cover, Vin," and you see Vin jump his big ass into one of the 3 pools in the backyard. One of the pools was a kiddie pool with some very brown water in it. I don't think I saw any wrestlers touch that specific little cesspool. I counted 2 trampolines, a mattress, a truck bed, a throne, and some other shit. There were some very familiar faces in the crowd that I've talked to, quite a few listeners also. Violent J was on commentary with GCW owner Lil Lauderdale for the entirety of the show. They worked well together. Their color commentary provided a lot of laughs throughout the show. So then Emil steps in the ring with his best Lex Luger shirt on and welcomes us to the backyard. And I believe that's the start of our show.
That might have been the smoothest firework opening on backyard history.
Yeah.
No fireworks fell in the ring and shot out at the fans like I did in St. A couple years ago, the one I was at. But that was one thing I noticed. I enjoyed the fireworks not going crazy, and it was actually pretty smooth.
Yeah, they had 2 6-footers out there trying to put that up there and then not bounce the ring as they leave.
Yep.
That's the part right there.
Okay, so what time did doors open? What time did you guys get in for this thing?
We arrived pretty early. I got there like 11 o'clock. Doors opened. The party started at noon. Show started at 2. It's you get there, you kind of just start hanging out, enjoying the festivities of the backyard.
So again, it's really relaxed.
Oh yeah, because
absolutely.
We came together, so we came in a big car. So yeah, like you said, we got there about 11:30, and we brought cases of water for the boys and everybody, and our friend brings a tent. She's the one that brings the Jersey Mike subs, and so it's just basically watching the boys set up the ring, us setting up our things, and then basically anybody that needs help with anything, you help. It's just basically it's a communal effort.
Yeah, unbelievable, and that's what it really does seem to be at GCW. Everybody's plugging in a little something here and there, left or right, and somehow the show just goes off without a hitch. And I don't know there. You want to get into this first match here, Mr. Brandt?
Yeah, let's hop right into it. So our first match of Backyard Wrestling 4 was KJ Styles, Kerry Morton going against Sean Henderson. And I'll let you take your notes because after the first couple months, I see that we have similar ones.
Sure. So we hear Backstreet Boys' I Want It That Way playing. KJ comes out in pool floaties, a pair of goggles, an American flag bandana, custom black and white boots, and black and white shorts that say Future Legend. Next is Sean Henderson. Some will know him by his Sean Henderson Presents series of wrestling shows. Kerry grabs the mic. He says the fans should be thrilled of real professional wrestlers in the background or in the backyard ring. He shits on Sean's lack of a tan, turns his attention to our guest commentator for the night, Violent J, and says his music sucks. That was Violent J's intro to the show. He was also a backyard wrestler back in the day. So on camera, there's a little kid in the pool playing directly behind the wrestling ring. His mom was watching with a cigarette hanging out of her mouth. That makes me miss childhood. The kid gets a little nervous and wants out as soon as Sean and Kerry get close to the pool. They start wrestling in the area there. Brett Lauderdale here was a nice quote. You hate to give up on someone, but it might be too late for Kerry. Violent J says he halfway sucks. Then they argue about his suck level. Kerry and Jay get into an argument mid-match. Jay says Kerry probably has on a bright yellow thong. Kerry says you all can suck my ass and wraps up Sean for 3. Our winner here, Kerry Morton, After the match, Kerry comes over to challenge Violent J. Jay pops Kerry with a slap upside the face, just south of his ear. Kerry runs off, throwing a fit. Happy to see we didn't get that ear busted. And we keep getting ICP music as usual in these backyard shows. So I have to say Brett's obviously a fan. I'm going to stop right there and let you guys talk because I had hellish notes. Let's hear from whomever there wanted to talk about what the fuck went on in that Kerry Morton Sean Henderson match.
I really enjoyed that match. Sean Henderson's a really dope dude. Just like a very kind guy overall. And, like it just seemed like a fun match. They went out there and fucking got like the perfect way to kick off the show. Like, just like you could feel like the positivity coming off of both of them.
Yeah, I'll piggyback off that because that's what I wrote. I was like, just on the audio, like I turned the audio up once I saw that Violent J and Brett were going to be on commentary. That was enough for me to turn it up. And that first match was interesting and fun for a backyard show. And that's exactly how the first match should be for a backyard show is what I wrote. So I copied you, Skittle, there. I was like, it was perfect for first match for the backyard.
You remember anything, Nate?
I think,
or were you just?
I think they kind of summed it up perfectly because I think at that point I was trying to still get the canopy up and do a little bit of everything. But yeah, that definitely Kerry can get the crowd going whether you love him or hate him, and I see everybody seems to love Sean. So no, that was definitely a good way to kick off backyard.
Yeah, a short 6-minute match too, which they really did fill that time nicely. And then with Brett and Violent J, we had 2 color commentators, which was rare. And there definitely wasn't a play-by-play because I saw a bunch of shit go down the ring and they had no idea what names were for him. I heard him say twisting corkscrew I don't know how many times, and nobody did a corkscrew. So I don't know.
All right, our next matchup was Claude Mero Jr., a.k.a. Ruckus, going against Emanon, a.k.a. I almost slipped up and said Broski Jimmy, but it's just going to be regular Jimmy Lloyd. I love this match. This one actually probably the one match I was looking forward to for the backyard just because I love to see Ruckus in these kind of environments. Like, yeah, he's good on just a regular one-on-one match, but when you got no rules and all the fuckery that the backyard show gives these wrestlers, I wanted to see what kind of creativity Ruckus would did, and it was fun. It was a good match, and Jimmy Lloyd was a perfect opponent for him as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right,
I love Ruckus and Jimmy in any setting. So yeah. I watched him in the parking lot or in the freaking back of a trailer.
Dude, Ruckus hasn't really slowed down either. He put a lot of body into this match for sure. Before I forget, we haven't checked in with everybody here. We got that raid that we were talking about, big chumps in here. Oh my goodness, who else do we have? We've got Das Frednator. We've got Lysol giving us the. Okay, said I wish I could have been there for the backyard brawl. You and a lot of the rest of us here. Little Skittle, we're going to get to your match, but WrestleDad said your match was amazing. We got Frank in here.
Frank.
Frank. Quirios and Milk, hello everyone. Nice to see you tonight. DJ Luda. We got a lot of regulars in here too. Here we go. John misspoke. Drink. It's going to become a thing. Let's see here. Make sure you're taking your vitamins and saying your prayers. That's always important, DJ. I love that we call it doors with no actual doors. We won't go too far into that one here. Brett on commentary is always an interesting time. Reed, welcome in here tonight. I can't talk about GCW Backyard. I was at Deppen versus Justice at the backyard of a bar. Oh, okay. No kidding. Well, yeah Frank Waldorf here. City. We don't see enough Kerry. I kind of agree with that. I actually like Kerry a lot. Young, but I think once he develops, we got to get on him now because I have a feeling he's another one that one day he's going to find himself into the majors. And it's like we might as well just get a tape library on him now.
100%.
Yeah. I think he was such an old school territory heel.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. DJ Luda, here we go. It helps to add to the backyard feel with 2 color commentators. Reed, right there with you, brother. Ruckus never slows down. All right. I think we're back and caught up here now. I had to jump back with everyone real quick because I realized we had 10 minutes of notes here on people. All right, so Claude Mero and Emanon. Emanon was out first. He walks directly into the pyro. He's selling getting popped in the face by it. Brett's asking the cam to focus on the pyro because they just kind of keep forgetting to. Jimmy comes to the ring. He grabs chairs. He goes to throw one in the ring and throws the fucker directly in the air. Assuming it slipped from his hands, we'll say. Brett jokingly said Jimmy just did a lot for wrestling right there. Violent J, all these people passing around joints. What's my name? Skip? Thought that was a great quote. Ruckus was out next. Again, like we were saying, he never ages. He's also wrestling in the And One shorts. Big shout out to my And One basketball shorts crew. 1999 at Walmart. This is the first match that goes to the mattress, then the first to go onto the trampoline. Out comes a baking sheet, chairs, and an inner tube. Brett and Violent J are talking about Scarlett losing power if she loses her referee striped hat. Ruckus brought the fucking ruckus, putting in work. You know what they used to call Emanon back in the day, Brett asked. Violent said, homeless? Brett said, no, sweet baby bitch. And he said, if we had gear, he should put that on it. Anyway, our winner here was Ruckus. He picks up Jimmy and slams him through a bunch of chairs for the win. And that's where I'll stop right there. Anybody have any memories of what was going on during this fucking weird ass match? 5.5 minutes, by the way.
I mean, it was everywhere all over the yard, basically. But I mean, like I said, I'd watch Jimmy Lloyd and Ruckus anywhere, you know. So you put them anywhere, whether it's backyard, a ring, parking lot, wherever. I'm going to watch them. They're going to put on a show for everybody, you know.
Let's sidetrack for just a minute. What are your thoughts on Broski, Jimmy?
I think him hooking up with Matt and doing all the merch and everything. I think it's great. I love Jimmy regardless. So it's like, but yeah, I think it's done a lot for him. I think, you know, it's just onward and upward, basically. You know.
How I look at the Broski Jimmy thing is, I think Jimmy Lloyd is like one of the backbones of GCW. He's like one of those guys that like absolutely, you put him in any match, he's gonna like excel, and he deserves to like be a main event guy somewhere. But like at the same time, I don't see him like full on like doing it for himself. That's why I think Matt Cardona like bringing it out of him, I think is so amazing. Like I think like he's gonna be the guy to take Jimmy Lloyd to that next level of like Jimmy Lloyd being like the full package professional wrestler.
That's a really good way to put it. I feel like this Broski character unlocked Jimmy Lloyd into like a whole other level. I feel like he ran himself to as far as he can, and then bringing in Broski. It's like he flourishes when he's somebody else. Like as a child actor, he needed to act. And then all of a sudden he starts to really come out of his own. And I think that's also because Matt forced him to get on that microphone.
Mm-hmm.
I think he gave him like the simple tips, like in Toronto, we'll talk about the next show, but like that opening promo, like I wrote in my notes, like Matt Cardona just looks like a proud father when Jimmy's like controlling the crowd, telling him to shut the fuck up and stop yelling, "We want Chelsea." Like he just looked like proud of like Jimmy, like it really is. Like I wonder what kind of work he has been doing with him behind the scenes, but like it's just a simple, easy, old school heel just to say the same kind of script over and over, no matter what crowd you're in. But Jimmy still gets the reaction out of every single crowd. So I'm glad to see him doing his thing as well.
Absolutely.
So then sorry, buddy. I didn't trample over you, did I?
No, you're good. I was just saying that I was just agreeing with B here.
So we cut to a video showing highlights of a backyard event that went down mere weeks earlier. The match was between Lil Skittlez and Jay Sawyer. Skittle, where can we check out this match? Is there anywhere where this match is available to fans that haven't seen it yet?
Yes, just look up Lil Skittlez on YouTube. It'll take you to my YouTube channel. It is pinned on my YouTube channel.
So it's not just on Androids only anymore.
No, it has been available to the whole world for a couple weeks now.
Yeah. I was wondering why he said that. I thought it was kind of funny. I think it was a little throwback, it's only on people's phones. Like, you know what I mean? Like somebody filmed the shit in the backyard. Yeah, Brett said that was exclusive underground footage. He jokingly said it's only on Android phones. Brett said he phoned the commissioner and both parties have been contacted regarding a match later on in the show tonight. So that would then, I guess, lead us into our third match.
All right, our next match was Brian Johnson versus Atom.
Yeah.
As in Adam. I almost said Cole, baby.
That shit was
Adam Cole, baby.
Adam Cole, baby. Adam Galt. Yeah, to me, this was a surprise. I guess it shouldn't have been, considering all the stuff that he said with you, John, when he hopped on here and talked about his promotional shit. But I wrote down like, holy shit, this was awesome. Adam is amazing. And I think what's even more amazing, he did that after refereeing a match earlier. And then in the heat, still came back and wrestled another match after refereeing a match earlier, especially that heat. I thought that was kind of crazy and pretty impressive from anybody, let alone a referee / wrestler now. But for me, this was a surprise, not only of this show, but surprise of the year. Like when Prazak busted out the moonsault a couple, about a year and a half ago, like at a show, and that was awesome. Adam Galt busting out the standing moonsault in the ring, the running moonsault on the trampoline. Adam Galt was a star, and like this was a happy surprise for me, and I loved watching it. Even going back and watching it again the second time was even better.
Well, even him, coming out, like it's like John said, him being on the show a couple weeks ago and talking about his backyard experience and everything. Then he comes out there, and then he not only comes out there, but Perch is his manager coming out. So it's like those are two guys they're two really good guys too. So it's just you love to see it. But that was like him doing everything. It was good to see.
John, should we spoil a little bit for next week since it was kind of just brought up in part of the conversation, or no? Or should we wait? Next week?
Yeah, we can do that right now if you want to. I just confirmed the other day here that next week's show, our special guest will be referee Dan Perch. So he'll be on with us.
There you go.
We're going to chill out with him. We're going to have a great time. Everybody knows how the interviews go. It's pretty relaxed. We're going to get to know who the person is, and I think that's kind of the fun of it all. I'll stop right there because I know Skittle was going to say something beforehand.
Oh, all I was gonna say is I'm sitting in the back, just like sitting away doing my thing, and like Adam Galt is like literally just like still in ref mode, and then I just see him like all of a sudden like I look one way and I turn back and he's just in wrestling gear. I'm like, what? And then he just goes. I'm like, whoa. And then like I was just and then I'm like locked in. Like I had not been really paying attention to the show. Like I've watched it back obviously, but like up to that point I'm like whatever. But then he goes out there like I was locked in, and then he's fucking hit the shooting star press. He's doing all this crazy shit. I was very impressed.
Yeah. So if anybody doesn't know what we're talking about here, a couple weeks ago, I had Adam Galt on the show, and we did a pretty well in-depth interview, I'd have to say. And if anyone knows me, I do my homework a little too much, and I went digging and I found out that Adam had his own backyard wrestling company as a teenager, and I found out all kinds of interesting stuff. So we dug it out. He was really fond of the whole thing. He talked about it for quite a while. I think it was like a 10-15 minute conversation we had about it. So I don't know exactly if anything from that interview prompted it or if this was something that eventually was going to come out later, but I thought it was pretty cool. And the minute I heard Black Dog from Led Zeppelin, it kicked in my head. I went, holy shit, Perch is coming out. And I popped, dude. I was so happy that after the match, I sent him a message as quick as I could. And I was like, dude, you just made a memory. And in the fans' heads, you went way up. Like you got instant respect for busting out what no one thought you were capable of. So I told him a heavy congratulations for really having a standout night, man.
Right. I love seeing referees being able to walk the walk and also talk the talk, like right there, like getting in that ring and doing all that shit. That was awesome. Like as you said, that took him another level in my book. I'm like, I ain't gonna mess with him no more. Like when Nick Gage tries messing with him in a match now, it's like, oh, better watch out. Galt's gonna get you now.
Yeah, so here's how all that went down. So Brian Johnson comes out to RVD's whole fucking show music. Emil's yelling Brian fucking Johnson, MECCA. Brian grabs the mic from Emil. He cuts a promo about the birthday of America. He puts over the show, the talent, and the barbecue. But then he found out it's with the hardcore GCW fans and in New Jersey, and he's not happy he's there. He says it's funny everyone thinks they can be a wrestler. He wants someone to speak on the fans' behalf. Who better than Adam Galt? He spends the most time in a GCW ring more than anyone. He asked Galt to explain what us at Game Changer Weekly already knew from our interview with Adam. He's a backyard wrestler who owned his own company. He said his name was Adam. Fans love the name. Brian calls it stupid, shits on Adam's untucked shirt. In that heat, don't say shit about someone's untucked shirt. Says he's just as close to being a pro wrestler as any of the jackasses at ringside. So he can take himself to the back and find a real referee and some competition for him. So I think it was Violent J that mentioned he was walking around. No, this was God, who was this that said this? He basically said that he had an Oddities t-shirt and he didn't know his mother was working for the WWF. I thought that was a nice little mama joke there. But imagine his mom being Luna Vachon. That's another story. I've seen her yelling at a promoter for stiffing her on money one time, and she is not pretty when she's pissed off. But yeah, he challenges Emil. Then the music hits. We have Black Dog from Led Zeppelin. Adam comes out draped in purple Everlast. He actively trains, so I was curious what he's capable of in ring. Brett says he has gear, and that's one step above Eminon. Welcome back, Chance. We're coming for Adam. Brian tries to jump the bell, but Perch says he hasn't called for the bell yet. Perch then smacks Mecca in the nuts and calls for the bell. Brian can't shake that feeling you get when you get hit in the yam bag. You know, when it goes up into the stomach, it don't feel too hot. Adam wrestled with his back against the wall for a majority of the match with small sparks of offense. When he did get in offense, the fans popped hard. Brian was yelling, "I made it clear I'm here to take over GCW." Nobody cares. Violent J said Adam has testicular fortitude in his testicles and his penis and his mushroom cap, especially. Strong speculation. That is so Violent J. Adam connected with an awesome stunner on the trampoline. They enter the ring, immediately beat down again. Brian grabs a chair asking, "You want to see backyard shit?" He props it in a corner, throws Adam. Adam reverses and throws Brian into the chair head first, and he follows it up with a vicious Jake the Snake DDT. Adam then hits a standing moonsault. Brett says he may have to pull him from referee duty. Perch is now yelling, "Mecca, break the fucking hold." Perch pushes Mecca. Adam rolls him up for 2. I heard people chanting Rings of Saturn quite a bit out there. Both men back to the trampoline. Adam hits another moonsault. Violent J pops hard. Half the fun of the show was listening to Violent J enjoy himself. Our winner on this one was Mecca. Let's talk about Rings of Saturn, guys. You were there. Let's hear it. What's going on with the Rings of Saturn?
That's just that's a local thing. I can't really specify. I think Skittle can maybe go with something like that, but that's something our friends came up with. It's just kind of like a local thing, but Skittle can pop into that.
So there is a fan in the South Jersey area who is a little bit of a demon. I love him, but we also we butt heads because he's always telling me I put him to sleep. He's a good cat though. Fucking Joe Beisler, he is always at shows yelling in any company about put him in the Rings of Saturn. It's his favorite move of all time. He plays he'll turn on No Mercy and play Perry Saturn versus Perry Saturn versus Perry Saturn versus Perry Saturn. Like,
oh my God, that's great.
Any show he goes to, he busts out the Rings of Saturn chant.
I'd rather hear that than punch him in the dick.
Oh yeah, that's I can't stand that.
Grab his dick and twist it.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I'll take a Ring of Saturn over that shit any day.
Hey, I liked my colorful use of yam bag. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
It hasn't been called a yam bag in years.
Yo, Taz $10. Yo, Taz $10 now.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, look at that. Lies. Luna Vachon was always pretty, even when angry. Let me tell you, Reed, there's a video out there of her giving a guy my size the fucking, like, just laying into him with words, and it's not pretty. Let's see here.
Yeah, back to
what we got. Brett is the best sneaking Yep. Also, there we go. GCW's done really well making refs actual personalities rather than black. Yeah, see, and that's important too. We've been doing that here at Game Changer Weekly for 2 fucking years. We're like, no, these referees are really good, some of the best, and you got to get to know them because all of them are pretty fucking cool. Like, you talk to them, you're like, these are nice people. Their job is to be silent, but man, are they colorful, and they really do bring a lot to their job. So it really showed again this weekend.
I actually enjoyed seeing like Scarlet, like not in the full like wrestling. Like one thing that always stood out for me is Adam Galt when he's always wearing like the black and white striped basketball shorts while reffing, and then now like Scarlet wearing the big old hat and like the sundress and not a wrestling attire. I thought that was like pretty cool for her personality as well. Then of course Brett and Violent J making jokes about it all night was pretty funny as well.
Dude, I'm pale as shit. I felt for her. That's got to suck out there in that sun. I don't give a damn. Uh-oh. We got Yam Bag Jones over here. Frank. Okay. So, yeah, my thoughts are that Adam sold everything well. Huge ovation from the crowd. Please come back, chants from the crowd. And congrats to Adams for, again, creating a moment in GCW history. I think he gained the respect of the fans, and we all really enjoyed that. And I felt like it was just time. He got booed in his home fucking town a couple months ago. Like, we got to give him love, man. He's too fucking cool. And I told him, I'm like, you do know that fans just don't like, the law guy. And he's like, yeah, I know. Like, but we love you. And yeah, the minute that popped off, I'm like, dude is on another atmosphere with fans now. So
absolutely.
All right. Our next matchup was a 3-way death match, as it was JJ Allen, Dr. Redacted, and Tarzan Duran. For me, I was actually kind of just excited when they first announced just JJ Allen versus Dr. Redacted by itself. I thought that was a strong enough match just with those two names, and kind of a highlight of backyard wrestling to hopefully bring the death match to it. So I was excited for that. Tarzan Duran, that's like cool, throw him in there, but like for me, I was just happy to see those other two. So this match was fun. I like seeing the violence a little bit more now during the death match, during the backyard show, since we don't see too much of it during backyard shows. But this was exciting, and I was glad to see Dr. Redacted in GCW ring finally. That was my main takeaway.
Definitely agree with that. I've been wanting to see Redacted in GCW for a long time. I think you got to, even for backyard, you got a big old pop when he came out. So hopefully, we see a lot more of him, because I know there's a lot of people that have wanted him seeing GCW for a long time. So
that right there,
I agree. I agree.
That's something I think overdue as well, Nate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Dr. Redacted is a Las Vegas guy. So me and Brant especially were like, you know what, it's about time. But I'll go into this now. We have such a small amount of younger American death matchers doing this right now, and Dr. Redacted is one of the few. We've got to get on him as a performer. And if we're going to do death matches, GCW's responsibility as the top independent company needs to be to also have the top death matches. And I feel like Dr. Redacted's one of those, that if you need a bleeder, he's a bleeder.
Yes. Oh yeah, he absolutely is. Yeah.
Reed might be calling me out. When is Redacted a Vegas dude? I thought Redacted's Vegas. Great one.
He used to live in Vegas.
Okay.
I know
Okay.
He moved somewhere. I'm not sure where, but he's originally from New York. He moved to Vegas. Now he's somewhere else. But,
Okay.
Well, he's in Japan right now, but yeah, I don't know.
Up. There we go. Reed.
Florida,
I love that we have people who know their shit here. This is what's kind of nice, is that we have like smart people in here that know their shit to keep us all in order.
I want to learn more right now. Nate, you said Doc's in Japan?
Yeah. As far
what
as
company?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I know that's why they left backyard early the other day, because him and his lady were getting on a flight and going to Japan. So look for that, because he's definitely gonna be having matches there in a couple of days here. So
nice.
Wow. All right. So in this match, this was a 13.5-minute match. This ended up being, I think, the most like violent for me, possibly, of the night, but that main event was pretty crazy too at spots there. So JJ was out first, weed whacker in hand. I love JJ a lot. Brett said he's had his testicles blown off in multiple states. That creates a great visual. Next is what I thought at the time was Las Vegas native Dr. Redacted. He comes out pumped up. Fans reciprocated with loud Redacted chants. They also followed up with about fucking time chants. I wholeheartedly agree. He's a serious death matcher, and like I said in my notes here, in the time a lack of young death match wrestlers, he's one of the few doing it and doing it well. Tarzan was out next, smoking a blunt. We've seen him on previous backyards events. He's about as tough as it gets. We've seen some things with him. The weed whacker starts up. Blunt burning by JJ, by Tarzan. We have garbage cans and lids, chairs. Redacted said, I really like clowns. Let's go talk to him. He jumps on commentary while he has Tarzan in a chokehold. Violent J said he wants that blunt. Redacted said, take it from Tarzan's mouth. So he tries to pass it back, and Redacted says he don't want that shit. Tarzan gets on the mic to say hi, and he jumps back off quickly. there's a lot of Tarzan here. This guy did some crazy shit. So Tarzan hits JJ with a baseball bat that blew up into flames when it hit him. JJ immediately went into pool to take care of that situation. Redacted popped JJ with a surfboard. Tarzan grabs it and pops Redacted twice hard. JJ came over to say hi to Violent J, and Brett told him to get away because he's dripping water. Redacted rides a golf cart and launches himself towards Tarzan, misses him and squashes a chair. Redacted pounding a gusset plate into Tarzan's head. JJ then puts one on Redacted's head. Both are bleeding heavily now. Out comes a barbed wire door. It's quietly slid into the ring. It's laid against JJ's body in the corner. Tarzan slings Redacted's body through the door and into JJ. Tarzan pile drive Redacted through chairs. Redacted answers Tarzan with a fireman's carry onto one of those chairs and completely fucks the chair up. Redacted Taz plexes onto JJ. Redacted goes to the top rope. Tarzan throws a chair. Redacted still hit a big frog splash. We're almost done here, guys. Tarzan power bomb on Redacted. Tarzan top rope flipping something. Nobody knows what the hell it was called. He covered JJ for 2. Tarzan lit a chair on fire. Huge chair shot to JJ's back. JJ kicks out at 2, and then JJ hits a huge suplex on Tarzan. Redacted covers himself in a trash can, jumps from the top rope, misses everyone. Both JJ and Tarzan look at each other somewhat comically. JJ puts Tarzan through a door in the corner and covers for 3. Our winner here again in 13 and a half matches was JJ Allen. Great match. They filled all that time. There we are.
You said all those matches. It said all the time. I was like, drink. Gotta get the drinking going on here.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, that was a very full match. Anybody have any impressions from that one? Because that fucker was wild.
Yeah, that shit was nuts. Another match that I definitely was watching through the plastic outdoor gimmick. That shit was fires. I love the spot with the golf cart, him like doing the cannonball off the golf cart. That was cool as fuck. Just with those guys, they're always gonna do some silly stuff, and I feel like it delivered. It was very good.
Tarzan. Oh, go ahead, bud.
No, I was just gonna say I really do hope this gets the whole ball rolling on Redacted for a very long time.
Absolutely, yeah. Because I think, like I said before, I think a lot of people have wanted to see him in GCW for a very long time, and I think he had a very good showing, and got a very good reaction. So, like I said, hopefully onward and upward from here on out.
Yeah, I don't want to get too much into it. I did have like a little epiphany last night, John, watching an old school Ring of Honor show. I was
get into it. Fuck it.
Let's do it. It's going to be deep. We got 3 shows to watch, or 3 shows to cover, man. It's going to be deep, but I do have a good topic here. Maybe at the end of this show, maybe for another time. But
okay.
I think right now, Dr. Redact is what kind of GCW needs in its deathmatch scene to kind of kickstart it back up, and is kind of a little overall point there.
Yeah, if they're wanting to kick it back into gear, I think Dr. Redacted would be a good Lego piece, a good building block in that department there. I don't know how much it would happen, but I know on call Dr. Redacted would work. That's no pun intended, but
yeah. All right. Next matchup. Oh shit, where are we at? There we go. Is a 6-man tag match as we have Jordan's team, which was Jordan, Oliver, Charlie Tiger, and Matthew Yeager going against the Crew, which was Everest, Kurt Bell, and Lance Scaper. Yeah, I didn't know anybody other than Tiger and Jordan, to be honest, in this match, so I actually kind of did check out a little bit. But seeing all those new talent, they actually looked pretty good. And I was kind of actually near the end a little bit more excited to see them because they did show out a little bit of what the backyard show was. But for no names, I thought they actually were pretty good. And I was watching Jordan's knee here kind of going into this weekend. And as it happened later on, it was a good thing I was watching, but I just shouldn't have been watching during the backyard show because they did talk about it a little bit, but they didn't. He didn't sell it too much, which I'm kind of happy for. But I do like seeing the selling all the time, even when it's not in a GCW setting. But I thought this match was good to get some new names on there, and I'm going to assume you would probably know better, Nate or Skittle, that since you guys were there, if they were kind of like not owners of the house, but like friends of owners of the house.
They could have very well been, but honestly, tell you the truth, the only ones I knew were Jordo and Charlie as well. So.
Yeah. Okay.
So the guys that were named crew, they were named crew because they usually work ring crew, and that's where I've seen them from, is like the Atlantic City ring crew. And the Matthew Yeager guy, I am not sure where he's from, but he was a very nice guy, and he wasn't bad either. I hope to see him back.
I'm glad to see crew members get a shot, especially at a backyard show. That's like the perfect kind of time to give them a opportunity for all the hard work they do as ring crew. So thank you for letting me know that, because that makes complete sense now. That's what I was kind of thinking. But even as much as GCW as I watch, I don't seeing those faces run around the ring and help clean up and stuff. Still, none of them look familiar to me. So I'm kind of glad I got that information. And thanks, Skittle.
All right, so I'll kind of go into my notes here. So Van is backing into the backyard arena. The door's opened, and it's Sleepy Eddie. Jordan's team slams the van and wakes up Eddie. He climbs in the ring, even though he's not in the match. I was already a fan of Everett's once I seen him. Brett billed him at 7'1", 475. He's maybe 6'3", around my height, 6'4". Eddie was put back to bed. He got sleepy very quickly, so he went right back to the van. Landscaper we have seen before in Backyard Wrestling 5, I believe. Then Kurt Bale, last seen on the Settlement Series, Part 7, November 11, 2022, versus Young, Dumb, and Broke. People keep trying to drown each other during this match. There was a lot of action with 6 men. Matthew with a huge splash into the pool. I don't know the name of the move. Everest can move pretty good. Brett said Everest can move with all the agility of Haystacks Calhoun. I think he moved a little better than Haystacks Calhoun. Brett kept calling most of the moves with a side twister somehow there. Another move was an inverted mountain lion that had Jay laughing. Eddie wakes up hitting everyone with a pillow. He climbs on top of the van and dives onto 2 guys on what Brett calls the Trampoline, which I thought was a nice little callback there. Eddie covers Everest while he's asleep, and Jordan team ends up with the win. They all do DX crotch chops, and that's the match. Eddie goes back to the van, and he's driven away by Matt Baruso. Eddie was more useful, I would say, than last time, and I found him definitely a lot more fun than just his sleeping gimmick from the one show. So that's all I have to say about that.
I was happy they finally got the water. That was like the first match they finally got into the water, so I was happy in that match as well.
I really enjoy Sleepy Ed's gimmick. I think he's just like a very I like comedy wrestlers, but also I feel like with a lot of it, it's just it's been done, and that hasn't been done. It's very unique, and I like it a lot.
It's kind of taken over Jody being the lifeguard the first couple backyard shows.
Mm-hmm. The first appearance for Sleepy Eddie, I was a little rough on because he just kind of came out there and slept, and I get it, but I'm like, okay, there's probably wrestlers back there that could use that job. And Jordan actually got a hold of me, and he's like, hey, actually, that guy has done a lot for GCW behind the scenes and whatnot. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, and so I'm like, you know what? I can't be rough on a guy like that. That's somebody who, like the rest of us, have put in a little time to make things better and got his. So here he is out here on this one, and I feel like I really saw more about who he is instead of just I got to see more Eddie and less Sleepy. Mm-hmm. All right, so now we're going to kind of break into this one a little. There's a video shown of a backyard match that went down between Lil Skittlez and Jay Sawyer, and that's going to lead us into our next match here.
All right, let's see if I can do this justice here. We have Mr. Jay Sawyer going against our very own right here, Lil Skittlez. And since he's here, I didn't want to take too much notes. I kind of wanted to hear from the man himself, and then I do have a couple notes from I'll chime in, but I want to hear from the man himself here. What was this match like on GCW's Backyard Wrestling 6?
Hold on. I want to break in because I know where to start. I have to, because this is a great story. Okay. When did you first find out this was all going to happen, man?
I found out I was asleep on my friend's couch, and I started getting shaken awake by Nate, and he's like, take the phone. I'm like, what? He's like, it's Dave. I'm like, what? And then I just started talking to him, and it was 2:30 in the morning, and locked it in the day of the show.
Unbelievable.
No notice, little Skittle just shows up. He's gonna be part of the second gear crew here. Just shows up and boom, ready for a match.
Yes, sir.
So then, was Jay contacted first, or how did that all go down? Or you don't know?
I have no idea. I arrived and was very happy. I was gonna get to pop Jay Sawyer a couple good ones because he fucking sucks.
Well, I'll tell you what, your match was a hell of a surprise to people who weren't in the know. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I was fucking cheering for you. I thought that was so cool. It's a fan's dream, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah, you got to live a fan's dream. Happy Jay Sawyer Day from Frank. Look at that. Oh. Yeah, Frank also said, I swear half of Brett's move names were sex things. That's actually true,
Sounds
too.
about right, yeah.
Yeah, the inverted lion was definitely something I've never heard before. Okay, so my notes. I left my notes kind of light on this one because, again, I wanted Skittle to kind of go through more of what was going on there. But Brett said the pyro looks like a Batista entrance. Skittle out first. Fans absolutely love this. There were a lot of familiar faces in the crowd waiting for him. Mr. J next, drinks in hand. Those chair shots on the back and head in the beginning of the match were brutal. Skittle. Brett cracking on Michael Servino's shirt, saying it was worn on the PGA Tour in 1997. Brett thinking the rings of Saturn was a sexual move had me laughing. And we also had a "This is Wrestling" chant as we got deep into the match. So I'll stop there. Mr. J ended up pulling out the win, but I think the fans were the big winners here. Honestly, though, Skittle, seriously, man, you were a backyard wrestler. This was a backyard show. You were there and available, and this all went down. So the planning of it was, how much planning was done between you and Jay, or was it more like we're going to look at what's out there and just kind of do something different?
So yeah, the main thing I always try to do with just like a yard match is, yeah, obviously that's all I do is yard matches, is you want to go out there and just like, I'm not Ric Flair, go out there, fuckeries out there, get right into it, start swinging for the fences, give the people a couple good shots, get them into it, and then kind of just go from there. Feed off the people. It was hot as hell out there. Just just classic like calling the match stuff. But for the most part, I was just Jay also, it was his GCW debut. Jay wrestles full time. We were both just very excited for the opportunity.
Smart.
Was there any like spots there that you didn't get in or didn't have time for that you wish you could have?
So when I did the swanton onto the board, I was gonna do a moonsault onto the board, and I kind of just like last second was like, maybe I shouldn't go face first into a barbed wire board.
Right.
But
yeah,
that was kind of just on the spot, turning that around, and I think that went good. But for the most part, I think it went off without a hitch.
Would you do it again?
Absolutely. I would not do it again untrained. I guess I will announce this here. My first class of wrestling school is Thursday night.
Congratulations. Nice. Where at?
That's cool.
With Mike Skyros in Syracuse. So
hell yeah.
I'm very excited for all that. And yeah.
The least egotistical thing you could have said was, I recommend people get training. What that means is you went out in the match and you said, you know what? I see there are points where you have to know specific things. And
I think he's had a lot of friends and a lot of wrestlers that have told him the same thing. Just get this out of your system. And I think he just needed to get out of the system. And I think backyard wrestling was the perfect place for him to get out of the system, obviously.
Yeah.
And it's just like, he had Jay there with him, and Jay's worked really hard in the crew, and like it was a great opportunity for Jay, it was a great opportunity for Skittle. But the point is like Skittle can tell you, I've been telling him for months, let's figure this out, because if you could have saw me during the match, his and Jay's match at Backyard, I was like a nervous uncle with my hands on my head, walking all around and being all the nervous Nelly and stuff. But yeah, cool. Now that I know that he's getting trained, it's a little bit different now, and he's getting trained by a good guy too, and a really good wrestler. So that's nice.
Sorry, I just wanted to say real fast. Like, I enjoyed how you like right away said like I ain't Ric Flair. I ain't trying to have like a Ric Flair match. Like this is a backyard show with all the fuckery around. This is what to give the fans like right there. I love that thinking. Like I see a lot of people, like even me when I trained to be a wrestler, I was like, I'm gonna be like the best technical wrestler in the world. I can't do high flying shit. I'm too scared to do that, but I'm gonna do this. But then it's like, no, you got to do what's like right for you, not what you think you're gonna do. So I'm glad that you like realized it's a backyard show and didn't try to do all those kind of Ric Flair kind of style moves. You kept it backyardish, and it was perfect for the show.
Yes, thank you so much for reading the chat also. But yeah, the main goal of the match was to just take our match we had 2 weeks earlier, take it to a bigger scale at another level, throw some crazy shit in there, and unfortunately, I got curb stomped in the fucking face with a steel chair and lost. But that's what happens.
It happens. Yeah.
Yeah. I will get my comeuppance. That's all I will say.
Don't let Moonlight bully you.
Don't let Moonlight bully you.
Oh my. Let's see here. I'm trying to see if there was anything else about this that I really found interesting. Yeah, after that match there, Jay hit you with some stiff slaps. Is there something more to that maybe down the road, or was he not happy, or is it like, you know what, is that a challenge me again sometime, big guy kind of thing, or what is that there?
What that is Jay Sawyer. That is
okay. Yeah.
That's what that comes down to. Is he thinks, he thinks he can do what he wants. I thought he was hot shit. Popped me a couple times before he went to the bag. It's all right.
Did you handle it in the back? I'm fucking with you. Yeah, I could just see them pulling away the cameras and you're back there just beating the piss out of Jay.
That's going to be on behind the scenes of that 824 documentary.
Yeah.
What I will say is I cannot wait for round 3. Jay's saying that there won't be a round 3 and he's just going to take his ball and go home, Stone Cold Steve Austin style. But I'll get him back in the yard. I'll show up in Philadelphia if I got to, goddamn it. I'll show up on his doorstep. He showed up on mine.
Oh yeah.
I saw that tweet going out there. You need one on his home turf. I would like to see that. Backyard Wrestling 7, here we come.
Hey, and you got a platform if shit goes crazy. So you obviously know you can come over here at any time. And Jay, if he's not asleep that night, we'll get him in there at some point and have him talk. I did want to get him in here tonight, but unfortunately he was busy at the time. So there we go. Another inquiry was about good luck, Skittle. Well, Skittle, that's nice. You have a lot of people there that really, we're like you, and we got to see someone like us go out there and just do it. And the one thing I remember is just the small amount of training I had. You think that the turnbuckle is like a wall. You think you could just run up on them ropes and chill up there. And it's not like that. Once you hit that second rope and you're up there and only your knees are against the top rope, you're like, okay, wrestlers make this look a lot easier than it is being on the middle rope even. So,
well, yeah, that was my thing that I just like, the ropes, they just because like obviously I've been in rings and stuff before, but I've never started like running the ropes and jumping up on them and stuff. And with all that, it's just like, I don't know, they feel a lot different. Like they're like very like they're like full blown fucking cables. Like like you definitely could very extreme. I love it though. I can't wait to be back in a ring, and also on the right circumstances on hopefully on not in a backyard, on we'll see what comes.
Nice. Well, I thought what was important about this match was the fact that when you came out, big group hug. When you left the match, big group hug. And also those NGI chants were pretty interesting. So you may be thinking about NGI one day, huh?
Well, listen, Lauderdale knows how to get at me. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna insert myself into the NGI. If people want me in the NGI, they'll put me in the NGI. I'm down for anything. You can throw me at the fucking Wolves. I'm ready.
There we go. Put that training behind it there, and you're gonna do well. That's
absolutely.
Yeah, and you got to live it, man. That is so cool. Think about it. Like when you were 5 or 6 years old, you're like, I'm gonna do something in a wrestling ring. I one day I'm gonna be and then then you didn't know it, but you hit that goal without trying, and you're like, damn, here I am standing up here. That's so cool.
No, for real. I'm honestly glad that it was like a very last minute thing, because if it wasn't, I would have been like very oh shit, like up until the match. But I didn't have time for none of that. I spent the whole morning of the show scrambling around New Jersey looking for elbow pads.
Oh yeah.
Thank God Nate drove me around.
Another question for you.
Drive around Cherry Valley for New Jersey trying to find elbow pads at Dick's Sporting Goods. That was our morning before backyard, but we found them. It was all right.
Is it pretty city like through that area, or?
Oh no, it's just like, I mean, you can find stuff. They're all little like outlet malls, So
gotcha.
It may say 7.2 miles, but it may take you 40 minutes to get there. You know what I'm saying? So it's all close to the city. In that area, it's close to Philadelphia, but it's just they're all little suburbs of Philadelphia. So it doesn't matter if you're going 7 miles or 10 miles. It's all 15 minutes to a half hour, 45 minutes to drive.
Yeah, where I'm from in the rural area, 5 minutes is 5 miles. Here in town, basically. 5 minutes is like a mile.
Yep. It's from where me and Skittle stay in the Philly area when we're going to shows and staying with our friends. She's about 15 minutes from downtown Philly, right directly to her house, and it usually takes us about an hour and a half to get to her house. So it's like that, So it's just, it all depends. It's a crapshoot.
But
all right.
Yeah, just to kind of cap it off, I'm so appreciative to Brett and everybody who kind of made it happen, and just like, I can't say thank you enough to the whole thing. It was surreal. I hope to be on Backyard 7 or whatever. If I'm not, I'm happy with what happened.
I'm not sold, Skittle. I think you need a series of promos to start getting cut. You need to release one every week or two. Hey, I got a great idea. Why don't you shoot some of your training? Like literally, like do a week by week kind of thing, or do a month by month kind of thing, and do the journey. Fuck it. Hey, listen, I'm telling you, I'm 44 now. I wish I videoed like a lot of shit when I was younger. It would be kind of cool to go 20 years back and watch you actually step into your shit for the first time and be like, here's where I started. I think a lot of wrestlers wish they did that.
I totally agree. And that would definitely be something cool to document along the way. But also at the same time, I'm just like, I want to have people like remember like this match from this year, kind of forget a little bit, go move on with their lives, and then I'll come back in a different breed of and just like go on a tear. And that's what y'all got to look out for. 2025, 2026, that's when I'm going. I'm going on my tear.
There it is. You heard it here first.
He's got the game plan laid out. I like it.
Hey, and sorry I didn't have a chance to make Skittle Squad the other day, bro. Sorry, because
don't stress that at all.
It was so nice to hear that was back up and kicking again. And I was looking forward, and then I found out on the day, and I'm like, shit, I got things to do. So,
no, man, I totally get it, man. We actually, I was still in Jersey up until that Saturday morning, and then me and Nate, we rushed back to New York for Skittle Squad that night. Very appreciative. We did not make very many pit stops. It was go.
That's good. You guys are still pissing in jugs like real men, right?
Nah, but there's plenty.
No,
plenty of
you're just whipping it out the window still.
So, I went to the rest stop, but I think I counted about 6 monsters I drank for that 5.5, 6 hours we drove from where we were to New York back up to New York. So I promised to get them back up there. We got them there, so it was all in there.
So I've never asked you, Nate. Who's your people you look forward to seeing at GCW when you go to these shows, wrestler wise?
Cole Radrick, Alec Price, Jordo, obviously. Obviously, very, very sad what happened to him. So, obviously, if you go buy some Jordo merch, obviously, because he needs your support.
Yes.
I know that. But Jordo, Honestly, I love Gringo Loco. Me and Skit went to the Lucha show at Jersey City a couple months ago. That was great. Honestly, I love GCW as a whole. I started watching GCW about 5-6 years ago, and during the COVID times, kind of stopped watching it. Doing my own thing, and then kind of came back to it. But it's like I've been diehard for a few years now, and it just gets better and better product. And I do kind of miss some of the old days back sometimes, but I think every product's got to refresh and readapt. But I think we're coming along in many right ways, and it's just onward and upward like everything else.
Wow.
Yeah,
All right.
That little thing that you just said there, that's like also when I was talking about a little change in GCW. That's kind of one thing I want to have on my mind to talk about. There is the evolution of GCW as of late and moving forward. So,
you want to talk about it now? You can. We got a little time.
We got 2 more shows to come.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Like I said, I think we might have some time next week. We'll have some time next week to talk about it.
I tried to get it out of him, guys. I really tried to get
maybe
it out
at the end of the show, if we run through Worst Behavior pretty fast, maybe we'll have some time.
Okay. All right. So what do we have here? This would then be our main event.
Yes, our main event of Backyard Wrestling 6 is Vampiro versus Lucky 13. Vampiro obviously is Facade. I was looking forward to this one just because I just picture. I don't know what's going on there. Someone's got back feed.
Oh, no, I got him. I got you, brother.
There we go. Okay. What was I saying? I wanted to see, Lucky 13 and Facade. Just like when I think of Backyard Wrestling, Facade's like always right up there with like I think of. And Lucky 13, he's just kind of like how I go with Ruckus, been this kind of environment with all the crazy fuckery going around, especially the trampolines and water and everything else. I was really looking forward to see what these two could provide, and I was happy just for them to get a main event of Backyard Show, and they delivered. I thought this was exactly how you should end a Backyard Show, and Facade, in my opinion, kind of is the king of Backyard Wrestling for me. I love what he does on these shows, and I love seeing him every time. So for me, that was a good way to end this show.
Yeah, and then I noticed Perch gave up his ref shirt there. He had the old Suns Out, Guns Out going on for the main event. So then, Lucky was out first, then Vampiro. Vampiro blowing fire early, ate a chair to the head. Brett said that was a variation of the Trenton Titty Twister. I thought that was another one of those new moves that he likes to talk about. Violent J said anyone being a Vampiro is a Facade. I thought that was a nice way to put that. Vampiro goes through a door, chairs being broken in every direction, both fighting all over the yard, fighting on the truck bed, lots of old wood, rusted metal, and nails on that thing. Lucky 13 using Joe Beasler's chest as a running platform. Vampiro jumping off an excavator, fighting minutes later from a porta potty. Brett says Vampiro hits a fecal faceplant, another one of those lovely moves that came out. Vampiro and Lucky 13 fighting with firework swords. Lucky accidentally stabbed with the sword, but he doesn't die. A trampoline is being turned upside down. Vin has an excavator out. Both get loaded onto it. Brett called it a European elevator, both fighting on top. They jump off and go through a door. Vampiro covers 4-3. I put here great match by both. Vampiro shines. I feel like Facade's time has just been coming closer and closer because we've seen more of him and he's just been rocking it. So what do you guys think on this one, this main event here?
That was a great match. I kind of just hung out. I stayed outside after my match, and that started right afterwards, and I watched the whole thing. That was the only match I was kind of like right out there watching. I loved the cutter off the tractor or whatever it was at the end. That was really cool.
Facade was one of the first wrestlers that I used to see at my in my upstate New York indies back in the day. So when he started wrestling for GCW, and I started seeing him for GCW, it was kind of cool. So it's always good seeing him at Backyard.
All right, Frank, let's throw Frank's closing thoughts. He said, I think it's lost the plot from those first 3-ish shows. The top billing stars don't show up for Backyard anymore, and that was kind of the draw. His second thing that he said here, having a platform for some of these lesser known guys, but you can't really compare Backyard 6 to like B1 or B. And I agree there. There's two different vibes from this last show to say 1, 2, or 3, and they've all been different. Also, is this the first time we've had a repeat venue for a show? You know what I mean?
No.
911's Backyard or
No.
1 and 2 and 3 were all at the same place.
Oh, were they? Okay.
Yes.
Oh gosh. I haven't watched those in forever.
My favorite one's always like the like Ricky Shane Page versus Jody Threat. Like those were like those times, and hearing like as he said, those big names kind of showing up and changing their character around and not being the big heel asshole, but having fun and just that's what for me those Backyard shows were too. And yeah, I don't think you can compare 1, 2, or 3 compared to the last 2 years even. It's just it's different, but I think I like seeing the wrestlers have fun. And as you said, they kind of having a community, like everyone's there to have a good time and there's no like any issues going on. Backyard shows are just completely different compared to any other shows. And I like those kind of feelings from those shows.
So I was laughing at Brett calling for the drone cam. And he said, this firework is called the Himalayan hand job. Another one of those great quotes from Brett. Limp Bizkit Roland plays out as Brett, and Violent J thanks us for joining the show. And again, I was missing some of my favorites like Cole and Janela, but that's just how it was. I still feel it was fantastic in its own way. Star Power was a touch lighter than most years, and the match count was about 1 or 2 less than average. But otherwise, I'm definitely happy that we always have these shows, and I really do hope they put a little more planning into next year, only because these shows are just so damn good and unique to GCW with the way that they do it. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, it kind of felt like it was thrown together quickly or on the fly, and I don't know, just kind of had that feeling. And I'm just saying that I don't know any better. I'm not in any back rooms or anything talking, but that was my impression of it. Overall, though, I mean, I liked it. Anybody else have thoughts on this one?
I always have a good time, and my boy was in a match, so I can't complain either way. I give it 5 stars. So.
I was going to say, Skittle, you probably don't have a complaint either, huh?
No, I have no complaints. Last year, Backyard 5, between watching that was my first Backyard, between watching Dilf get thrown off the roof and damn near break his legs, and JJ Escobar getting a whole pack of, what are they even called, firecrackers lit off on his head, and then that whole show last year was really crazy. And this year, obviously, I was just like, my main focus was my match, so it was just different for me this year than last year. But I think it's always a great show, and they kill it every year, and I hope to be back. And yeah, I can definitely get what B's saying though about how like you can't even compete with like 1, 2, or 3. But then that's also the same. That's the same with Tournament of Survival or NGI. It's like all of those they're like that now. It's like you're never gonna be able to touch the first or the second or the third one.
Yeah. Some of those early NGIs, you're not touching those things. Like 2, not being touched anytime soon. Great one here. I highlighted this earlier. I'll put it back up here. Next year, Backyard will fall on Friday, which will be interesting to see how many people have other bookings that day. So there we go with great one. Another Las Vegas native who he always has something very interesting to add to the convo. So thanks for that. Also, Frank here, the last few years, Backyard has fallen on the same loop as Canada. So that plays in too. This is what I love.
East Coast though. You can't. As much as we would love to have Backyard out here on the West Coast, you can't do it. Like St. Louis was just brutal. That's not even out here close to being out Vegas heat and stuff. So I think the Canada loop is a good idea.
It was 85, I think, the day of Backyard, and I think the next day it was like almost 100. So I can't imagine.
You got lucky.
Yeah. So I can't imagine having it the day after because it would have been sweltering. But we got very lucky. With it still being hot, we still got very lucky. But I can't imagine having it where you guys are, especially Las Vegas. Well, I think, John, you had 120 degrees the other day or some shit. So
I don't even like to get in my car.
Las Vegas. Dude, Las Vegas set a record at 120 a day or 2 ago, and it's just insane. Brutal on the air conditioners and shit. Like it's so fucking crazy. We're just like, you just keep the blinds shut so sun don't even go in. You treat summer here like winter on the East Coast. You know what I mean? You go straight. Yeah, so like you're going from your house straight to your car. You know, you're not hanging around outside during. There's like 3-4 months. Like we treat it like winter here.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Oh, what was I gonna say? So, I forget now. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry.
You're good. Jonathan
That was
Ash,
the one I was
welcome
at.
here, by the way.
Yeah, he's right.
I couldn't even
Jonathan-
take videos.
Ash is right.
Like,
it wasn't important.
My phone overheated taking videos like of the show
Yeah.
that was the only one I ever went to, and I was like trying to take videos and pictures, and like over 75% of the show, my phone was like overheated, can't use it yet. So I didn't even take like a lot of videos and stuff as much as I wanted to.
I almost
I'm
forgot
gonna
the year
just
before Ben's they had out down south or wherever, out west or whatever.
Oh, okay. Yes, this is what I was gonna comment on. So not only was there American Rana and New Fear City running, but also like it's the 4th of July. A lot of the talent want to be home with their family and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot that plays into shows like that. I mean, let's serious. How many people want to come out for a Christmas show? You know what I mean? How many want to be 4 states away from their family on a Christmas show? So,
Yeah.
looking at it that way.
Yeah, I think for me and my family going out to St. Louis just for that backyard show was just kind of like a once only kind of thing, like just to go see a new city. But as a family, that's a way to celebrate 4th of July that we never did before. But I don't see myself doing that next year or the year after that, traveling to backyard shows on 4th of July weekend. Yeah, like, it was like a good like novelty kind of thing to do. To say I did it, to do it too.
And you guys on the East Coast will start to realize after a while that the West Coast is kind of on an island. You know what I mean? Like there's only so many cities, and then there's a lot of dead space when it comes to wrestling venues, wrestling atmosphere, wrestling fans. So it's like Vegas, LA, Phoenix, and San Francisco, and that's primarily the 4 cities, and that covers a lot of area of land. And after that, you have Portland and Seattle, and you know how much is up in Portland. You know, Defy and a couple other groups, and that's about it. So, I mean, we're starved out here, and I feel like even the performers out here feel like they're kind of on an island and not really looked at as much. And everything out here outside of LA is not as populous also. So if you run in New Jersey, you have so many more fans, a pool of fans within a 20-mile radius than you would in Vegas. So,
but also what I think the reason of that is ECW, and then CZW follows that. And then it's just like, this is where wrestling, independent wrestling at least, was built. Like, so it's like, that it makes sense, but at the same time, I feel for you guys. It's like, me and Nate, like, we could like go to a show every weekend, and we pretty much do. But it's like, I totally understand what you guys are saying. Like, and there are those hidden gems on the West Coast. Like, I'm a big Titus Alexander guy.
Yes, Jordan Cruz is another one who's he's something else. They're out here. It's just there's only so many. The one thing that's interesting about, I know Las Vegas for sure, is that it's small. It's small, man. You know a couple people. You've pretty much met most of them. Like we have a real tight community out here too, and Great One will tell you about that too. Vegas community is pretty tight, and we're pretty supportive of each other, which is cool too.
Hell yeah, I'm very excited to come out to Vegas next year for Mania.
I'm excited to see how many of you make it out to Vegas with me. I think that would be fantastic to try to see if we can get something figured out.
I know he's going. I'm still trying to make it, but yeah, I know we'll figure it out.
I was gonna say, start tucking dollar bills now.
Come on, Nate.
I'll end up making it somehow. We'll see.
And Great One is not lying. Vegas has about 6 or 7 feds running right now. You can catch a show on a Wednesday night here sometimes. We have that much kicking. And again, though, it's around a lot of the same people, but dude, yeah, we're constantly hopping here. It's just when you're on an island and you're yelling out to the ocean, no one hears that shit, you know?
Right.
Nate, you better come out to WrestleMania. It's John Cena's retirement match. You might know him as John Cena. You might know him as John Cena, Nate.
Yeah. I think it's 420 too, so that's gonna be freaking interesting.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So I was trying to figure out like how much money to save for these shows, because it's going to be so much to go to so many shows. So I'm like,
I mean, for the collective in Philly, I mean, I saved, I think, a few racks at least. I mean,
I spent about $2,000.
And I stayed at a friend's house. I didn't even stay at a hotel. So, you know, so
yeah.
It depends. So,
dude, my spare room got booked months ago.
Right. Well, I'm saying it all depends what you want to do too. If you want to go to the, the WrestleMania store, you want to do this, you want to do that, you want to do tour, or, be tourist things, all that shit. It's going to cost money, so you never know. But
the only concern is the new Raiders Stadium, no parking, very
yeah.
minimal parking, so everybody's Ubering in for that one, which can be good and bad also. So it just depends.
Well, Skittle can tell you he almost didn't make it back from the one WrestleMania night because the Uber kept canceling on him because there were so many people waiting for Ubers and stuff in the Uber line at Lincoln Financial.
So,
Go ahead.
Oh, so that was traumatic. So on night one, we played it smart and we left halfway through the main event, and we got an Uber quickly and we started going back towards our hotel. Got back there as the main event to WrestleMania ended. With night two, I was with my buddy who's a big WWE mark, and he wanted to see Roman beat Cody. So we stayed to the whole end, and then Cody won, and he was so mad. And then we get outside, and the traffic's crazy, and he's cutting this whole promo. I'm not exactly impressed either, so we're just both like upset, and I'm like ordering Ubers, and they keep canceling, and it's just like my phone's on like 8%, 7%. We sat out there for 3 hours. Then we ran into some guy named Russell. We found out Russell was staying at the same hotel as us, and that Russell just has connects. Bro picks up his phone, makes a phone call. Within 15 minutes, here comes this guy up to he's like, I'm here to pick you guys up. We're like, what?
What?
It was pretty crazy. And then, yeah. And then, come to find out, I thought, actually, I may have spoke too soon. I thought Russell had connections because this wasn't even the guy he called. And then this guy, he's like, are you the guy I called? And he goes, no, but I'll take you to your hotel for tips. Give me tips. Give me all the tips. And then we're just like,
oh, shit.
And then this guy Russell just threw a whole fucking wad of money at him. And then I was just like, all right. And got in this random van with all these people I didn't know and went from Lincoln Financial Field back to Camden, New Jersey at my hotel. But
wow.
Yeah, at like 3 a.m. But Cody finished the story. That's all that matters.
Unbelievable. That's totally an East Coast story. That doesn't happen that much out here. It would have been more like, well, I was stranded until daybreak.
Yeah.
I know, made some friends with some homeless people who are pretty cool.
Right. Well, you can do that there too, but
yeah. I think we did Backyard Wrestling 6, guys. What do you think, Brant? Was there anything else you wanted to cover before we do our thing here?
No, that was a good show, and like I said, I think it's cool that Skittle made his appearance there and kind of kept our channel's good juju going. With you hop on our podcast, you're gonna get a title shot, a big matchup, or a match on GCW. So Skittle, it's cool seeing you killing it on a GCW show, and thanks for coming on and talking with us. And same thing, Nate. Thanks for coming and sharing your experiences that you had at Backyard as well.
Yeah, thanks for having me, folks.
Guys, appreciate you both for coming on, seriously. And please, absolutely. I mean, if I don't get a hold of you, get a hold of me sometime soon here, and we'll bullshit again soon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get you guys back on soon. We started a little weird. We started a little weird today because this is new for us to do this whole thing, but we're hitting stride there. But no, seriously, thank you both, because it is appreciated, and your opinions are really, really, they're important to a group of people who are hardcore GCW fans. So when you speak, people care.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything for you guys, anytime.
Thank you, guys. Thanks so much.
And John,
yes,
I
sir.
hope to see you on Skittle Squad Friday night. We'll be back up on there doing the guys.
You fucking know it, brother. I'll see you then.
All right, take care, fellas.
Take care,
guys. You guys. Take it easy, guys. All right. As they are heading out, they already head out. That was quick. We are going to cover GCW's Worst Behavior, but I have a video up for it, so let me get that ready. before we cover into GCW's Toronto show, Worst Behavior. Let me get it going and boom.
Oh my goodness.
Right. Yes, that is a lot from GCW's Worst Behavior in Toronto from, oh my God, my computer keeps on flashing out. I know it's the Opera House. I just forgot the
From
name
the
of it.
Opera House in Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
It was just the Opera House. I saw a name before it. Yeah, the
You
Opera
were
House.
thinking of L'Olympia.
Oh, that could be
Were
what
you
I'm thinking of. Yeah.
That's the Sunday night. That third show is generally IWS would go from L'Olympia. So this Opera House may or may not be new. I'm not 100% on that one. We'll have to figure that one out.
Yeah, I can't remember. But yeah, we are going to cover that. Once again, big thanks to Nate and Lil Skittlez for hopping on and covering the GCW backyard show with us. That was cool, getting all their information and behind the scenes from that show. That was awesome.
Yeah, I don't think anyone besides Skittle could give us the feeling of what it's like to go into that, match 5 there. So I thought that was something different. And again, it was a fan living a fan's dream. How cool is that?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So we opened the show with 4 competitors already in the ring. The Opera House, to me, I felt was absolutely beautiful, except every single wrestler on hard cam is lit up bright red like fast food under a heat lamp. It was distracting with the different red levels when you're flipping cameras. Also, I would have loved to have seen them lower the camera down 10 to 15 feet for a better angle. But again, that's only personal preference, and I'm being picky there. I do love the venue. I think it's a wonderful place for wrestling. I really like the floor. It's made to look like stone. The fans' enthusiasm translated well during the broadcast as they were hype all night. But yeah, Emil came to the ring. He is in Toronto. He kicks off the night by introducing our participants for our first match.
And our first match was a 4-way match, as it was Jack Cartwheel, Charlie Tiger, Harlan Abbott, and Marcus Mathers.
Oh, well. Oh, my goodness here. Okay, so now I feel like I'm kind of settling in a little more because we had so many people in and stuff. Now we're kind of settling back into everything. All right, let me look at my notes.
I was kind of weird.
I got heel.
What's sorry. I was just saying, yeah, I enjoyed having them on. I love having them. Again, this was our first time having people on, and then we gotta get them out before the next show. I was kind of weird. I don't know how I feel about that. It is gotta reset and get ready and do back to I feel like I'm more laid back when we have guests. I'm just sitting here chilling and listening and just taking information in. Now it's oh shit, now I gotta get the information out here. It is a totally different, two different styles here.
All right. So yeah, let me go ahead and Let's see here. I was just looking at a private message that was sent over here. There we go. All righty here. No. I was just looking at fan chat here for just a second. Sorry about that. All right. So on to this four-way match. We had Cartwheel, Tiger, Abbott, and Mathers. Abbott was our heel in this match. He was refusing to shake hands with the other three. Fans loved hating him. This was his GCW debut, though. 35 years old with a 20-year career, 6 feet tall, 220 pounds. He was a 19-time champion. His longest title reign was for the RCW Canadian Heavyweight Championship, 492 days, followed by his second longest reign, also with the RCW Canadian Heavyweight Championship at 427 days. His average title reign is just south of 200 days at 196. He was on AEW Dynamite 2 months ago. Also made 2 appearances at Dungeon Wrestling out of Calgary, Alberta, Canada. That's owned by Blade, Dallas Hart, and Mo Jabari. Dungeon Wrestling's big belt is the Stu Hart Heritage Championship, currently held by Chris Masters. The 2 previous holders were Nick Aldis for a year and Davey Boy Smith Jr. for over 8 years. Toronto loves themselves some Jack Cartwheel. He could do no wrong. We want Cartwheel from the fans over and over and over again. Charlie Tiger has been on GCW TV more often, and I really like his intensity and strength. I feel like he's a brick who fits well into scrambles. Mathers is the future if he continues to grow. I could see him as a third member of the Garbage Daddies, but so could Cartwheel. I feel he could really bring the flippy shit to the Daddies. I'm also a big fan of young, exciting, independent talent teaming up, especially in their younger years. It's just a lot easier for them to learn. This is where in my notes, my last note said, whoa, we had Abbott's J Driller with Cartwheel, then a coast to coast on Tiger, then a superplex on Mathers. Jack then hits a huge moonsault to break up the pin and covered Charlie for 3. The last few minutes of this match are a must-see if you want a snapshot of Abbott's capabilities. All I have to say here is welcome to GCW, big guy. In the end, our winner was Jack Cartwheel. I'll stop right there for a minute. What were your thoughts on this match?
The highlight was obviously that Dre Driller to Cartwheel. That was fucking insane. How he just like held him up and then nope, we ain't done yet, and lifted him up and held him there and then drove. That was insane. I saw a clip of that on accident before I watched the show, and I was like, holy fuck, like Jack Cartwheel's dead. Like that was insane. Like that right there made me like during that match, like I stopped everything and focused directly on that match just because I wanted to see what that guy was all about, because I kind of don't remember it. Oh, you said this was a GCW debut, so I don't remember seeing him the last time we were out there, so he was impressive. And I love the talent that they picked for this match. Each one had time to shine, and they definitely took advantage of that. For me, it's kind of cool seeing Marcus and Charlie Tiger being on the road to Canada with GCW, as they kind of usually stick to the Northeast out there. And I guess, Toronto out there is still the Northeast, but I was just kind of shocked to see those two traveling with GCW across the country lines and wrestling in Canada. So for me, that was exciting to see. And I was glad to see Jack get the win after that crazy driver, because that was insane. And for me, Jack Cartwheel, like he's lost some weight and like toned up, and like he, like for me, actually kind of looked like eye-poppingly like skinny from the last time I saw him, but in a good way. Like just he like is getting rid of that football muscle and like turning it into like wrestling, more aesthetic muscle, and that's like I think really good for him, especially working with the Ring of Honor and TV. I think that's going to be good for him, is kind of shedding some of that football muscle and turning it into wrestling muscle. And for me, that was kind of shocking to see that. And I good for Jack Cartwheel to look as impressive as he did.
I'm happy you mentioned that thing with Cartwheel, because I noticed the same thing. I'm like, is he getting skinnier? But then I'm like, he looks good skinnier though. It doesn't look like he's went down and lost a bunch of mass. And you know what I mean? Like he hasn't shrunk and shriveled. Like he just looks like maybe he took a little off of the bulk and, converted it somewhere. But yeah, whatever it is, it's obvious when we're seeing it. So there you go, Jack. If you had a point, like you're trying to cut weight, it's obvious it is showing. Jack was way over in Toronto. If he got that treatment in every city, I'd be calling for the championship around his waist. Also hoping that maybe that kind of continues on to the next show. Maybe we see more Jack Cartwheel chants. We've talked about it before, how fan reactions can bleed into the next show or two. So we'll see what happened. But yeah, Jack had a fan contingent in Toronto for sure, and they were super loud.
Yeah, I was happy to see that too. We always root for Jack Carbo everywhere, and whenever he gets like those kind of reactions, it's awesome to see. Our next matchup was Megan Bayne versus Jody Threat. I wrote down I was happy to see Jody Threat back in a GCW ring, and I was kind of really looking forward to this matchup for Bayne. She's had a variety of different challengers and competitors in GCW, and Jody Threat being a crazy Canadian, I was looking forward to see what kind of matchup these two would provide. But I thought it was good for Megan, and I thought both delivered a solid match. And Jody, I go back to just talk about that backyard wrestling with her wrestling RSP, and she's like one of the, I'm pretty sure I was the one like making the noise like like on every move, freaking RSP out, like what the fuck am I wrestling? So that was kind of what put Jody on the map for me. And then every time I see her now, seeing her crazy character and how just wild she is in the ring, but in a good way. I enjoy the craziness that she provides, and obviously as solid as Megan has been lately for GCW, this was one matchup I was excited to see, and they absolutely delivered a good match.
Yeah, Jody was out first here. She was way over with the fans. Jody chants early. She has an incredible energy, fun entrance, love the music. Megan is walking out to surprisingly larger boos than usual. This is an interesting dynamic, and the most she's been booed that I've heard at GCW. But it's purely because Jody is also that popular. I did see Jody trying to assist Megan getting some cheers as the fans were that rough on her. I now see where Megan's egotistical leanings could make her a monster heel. She's physically dominant, making her a huge threat to all. Megan established her physical dominance early in this match. This made Jody use her intelligence and speed to be on top of Megan. Cool spot with Jody climbing on Megan's back and attempting to choke her out. She almost goes down inches from the floor, but then Megan slowly rises all the way back to a straight position. It's a killer move. Megan was also egregiously rude at times, nasty boots to the face. She was pie facing her. Jody was showing more fight in her than Bayne had, but she needed that in this match given the circumstances. I also noticed, I think I need a Jody Threat Masha Slamovich team. I see the vibe. Wild. A match even, but I see the vibe. They're just so both intense. They have a not back down kind of attitude. So, but our winner here was Megan Bayne with a tombstone pile driver. And again, still huge boos. Megan ended up rolling Jody back in the ring by her hair and then shakes her hand, and both raise the other's hand. But yeah, out of this, Megan remains undefeated in singles competition at GCW. What are your thoughts on this one?
Great one here. Stole exactly what I was about to say. I think, yeah, Megan is way better as a heel than a face. And yeah, I kind of found it surprising too, that they mostly use their face, but I guess they're doing that because of with Joey Janela and stuff. I also think Joey Janela is a better heel than a face as well. So, yeah, that's kind of my thought. Like, I thought this was like, we got to see more of Bayne than when I kind of started watching her, like in Beyond. I think it was Beyond or one of those other promotions. Wrestling as a heel, she just says that I'm bigger, I'm stronger, I'm more confident. Look at my gear, my presentation. Look at you. I am the next face of women's wrestling. You are not. Like, I think that totally, like, I see a lot of like Charlotte Flair in her character and her ego and like just dominating the wrestlers. And I prefer to see Megan as that kind of character, but in GCW, when she's been used as a face, I think she's been excelling as a face and being in good matchups for her to be a face in. So I think ultimately I want to see Bayne as a heel, but getting to see the face side of her right now is fun, and a good to see a different side of her. But I ultimately want to see her as a heel moving forward.
I'm right there with you. Not against that one whatsoever. Same thing though. I actually want to see Jody Threat back in the ring at GCW more often too. I like her attitude. She got GCW attitude.
She fits the GCW mold perfectly. Yeah, I kind of put her like a female Zilla, like just get her in the ring, like she's gonna go 110%, fly around and just cause chaos and in a good way for her. So I'm right there with you. I do want to see Jody Threat. And I was, like I said, when they announced the Canada show, I was kind of hoping we'd see her, and I don't remember if she was announced beforehand or not in this match, but when I saw her come out, I was excited. So that was a good matchup for Jody and GCW. Speaking of another good matchup, yeah, this one was fun. Gringo Loco going against Galeno Del Mal. This was one I know I said it. You probably said it or agreed to. When we saw Galeno, I want to see him going against Gringo to see what kind of stylistic matchup they would provide. And this was a really good one. Galeno is a monster. I'm really glad they kept on mentioning, or they mentioned a couple times, being the son of Dos Wagner Jr. I always seem to forget that whenever we do cover Galeno Del Mal. Usually someone in the chat will always remind me that. So I'm glad they kind of did keep mentioning that. And I thought this was a good matchup to see where Galeno Del Mal is as a singles competitor, to do a one-on-one match with Gringo. And he absolutely stepped up. I just forget how big he is after him standing next to Gringo. He made kind of Gringo look a little small there in the ring, but I loved this match. It was a great match, and this is one I would love to see turn into a feud.
That's a great way to put it. We'll get into this because I'll tell you, I'm a big Galeno fan. If somebody hasn't been listening to the 9 other shows that I've talked about him on, Galeno's back. There's no complaints for me. He's a beast of a man. The best part of him is his speed and agility for his size. Gringo Loco out next. He enters the ring to Base God chants. Gringo really enjoys it. We have Ole chants, Lucha chants all throughout the match. The fight goes outside and around the ring. Everyone was getting a view. I know the big guy's always an imposing bad man, but that's a tremendous face in Galeno if you can see what I see. But also, I'm the one who saw a face in Megan Bain. So I see weird things, I think, sometimes that maybe others go, he might be off. I'm probably off. But to me, he would be a permanent member of a potential GCW roster if there was one, because I mean, where else on the independent scene are you seeing someone with that size and athleticism? It's so rare. Gringo's one of my favorites, one of the nicest guys. He did a serious amount of fighting in this one. He was giving up a lot of mass to Galeno. Eventually, we were getting both these guys chants. That's honestly what I wanted to hear here. Galeno with a huge frog splash. Gringo still kicked out at 2 after that. Our winner, though, ended up being Gringo Loco when he hit a huge Spanish fly from the top rope, giving everyone exactly what they wanted to see here, which was a Gringo Loco win. What were your thoughts on this one?
I'm glad you wrote they were chanting Base God, because at first I was hearing like D5, like D5. I'm like, why are they chanting D5?
Oh, yeah.
Like, just because, like, was he the champion? I know he was like wrestling with them, and I think he did have a gold. I forgot what belt it was. I don't think it was the actual Defy World. Maybe it was, and that's when we lost it to Kent or something. I don't remember, to be honest with you, but like that was kind of driving me nuts at the beginning. I was like, why are they chanting D5? But Base God, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
One thing I was really hoping for, and I thought like he was going to try to, but then I think he realized like, fuck this, I cannot give the base bomb to Galeno Del Mal. I was waiting for a base bomb finisher instead of the Spanish fly. But no, this was a good match, and like I said, I think this was a good like test for Galeno in my eyes to see how he could do a singles matchup with someone like the talent of Gringo with the lucha style as Gringo as well. That's what it was. Gringo challenged Kenta for the DeFi. That's what it was.
There we go.
But yeah, I'm just always impressed with Galeno, and I left this match wanting to see Galeno and Gringo interact a little bit more. Either Galeno could get some luchadors and have some trios matches with Los Desperados, which I would look forward to, or just Gringo one-on-one against Galeno. I thought that was cool. And I think throughout this card, there's like two matches, at least more. I'm like, can we turn this into a feud, please? So like, that's the one thing I kind of got from this show was a lot of good stylistic matchups I want to see in the future.
I'm thinking maybe once every 3 months we have a lucha extraordinaire where we just get the lucha up here and just go crazy.
See, I would like to, I don't know how Vikingo would translate into this with the Galeno Del Mal and Triple A and stuff, but if Vikingo could come back, I would love to see him and Galeno Naval team up together.
Oh,
Like I'm always a big fan of like the power, the speed, and the muscle.
Yeah,
Like I want one muscle guy, one speed, and I think Galeno provides both of them. That's the scary part. But also Vikingo is surprisingly strong at his kind of stature. Like he's been able to do some crazy strength moves that I didn't think was possible from him. So I don't know that I just want to see those two a little bit more, but Galeno is absolutely welcome in GCW anytime, any place. That will lead us into our fourth matchup of the evening, as is not KJ Styles, Kerry Morton going against Speedball Mike Bailey. This was what I was kind of looking forward to. I love both competitors. We love the heel work that Kerry does. We obviously always shout out Speedball every single time. So this was a matchup I wanted to see, just to see what kind of pacing Kerry would have in this match. Would it be more of a Speedball kind of match or a more old school NWA classic territorial match with Kerry Morton? And we kind of got both here. A little bit more storytelling, which I think was good. I love the storytelling of like at the beginning, Speedball getting on the mic and like your promo sucks. Boom, stop talking. Boom, no one cares about it. Like I love that part because that's something we don't see from Speedball quite often. So I enjoyed this match. It did have a lot of different stuff going on. And this was another one I said I would love to see turn into a feud, just to give Kerry. I want to see Kerry kind of in a feud in GCW, and we were always crying for anything Speedball. So for me, I just wrote good matchup. Loved the promos going on while the action was still going on as well. And I think this showcased the good of Speedball and the good of Kerry Morton.
Yeah, Kerry Morton came out first, and he said that he's now the self-proclaimed Mr. GCW. Found that kind of interesting. Speedball was out next. Toronto loves their fellow Canadian fighting out of Montreal. Kerry grabs the mic from Emil, says he's the next GCW World Champion, as always. And Speedball acts like he's kind of dying of boredom in the corner, if you really take a look there. So the match starts. Speedball grabs the mic while whooping Kerry's ass in the crowd. He says, "No one is fond of a long heel promo. It's not 1983 anymore." Then he has a punch to the face. "We don't have a captive audience. People are watching online." Then a kick to the body. "If you cut a long, boring promo, people are just going to tune out." That's what you were talking about. Yeah. I was laughing so hard I slowed it down and quoted it all because it was just so damn funny. Kerry works the crowd well. Many are yelling at him during the match. The push-ups weren't well received. You know who else gets that kind of yelling and shit from the crowd is Mance Warner.
I was just about to say, yep. Kerry is doing like, it's a simple formula. Like Jimmy, Cardona, Mance, now Kerry, not now Kerry, but Kerry's been doing it too. Like it's a simple heel formula they're using, and it's so easy, but it gets so much heat and it gets the crowd into it, gets the fans into it because the crowd's like, it's so good. And that's why I love Kerry Morton in GCW. He could provide the territorial heat, and just like Mance does, and give us a different version of it as well in GCW.
Speedball with an awesome shooting star press, but he only got the 2 on the cover. I was laughing at a fan who was blown away by the triangle moonsault. Veda said, "My man is smelling covers over there." Kerry busted out a top rope moonsault and cleared 3/4 of the ring almost. And again, that's that cheerleading background. Mike Bailey with a Falcon Arrow into a shooting star press. Scarlett was knocked down. She didn't see a low blow by Kerry in the corner. Speedball still gets his shoulder up at 2. Our winner here ends up being Speedball Mike Bailey with Ultimo Weapon 4-3. This was an almost 12-minute match, and my notes don't do it justice, but yeah, you're right here. We kind of got a little bit of both. We got the old school mixed with more of a Speedball, and I thought it was absolutely complimentary of both wrestlers.
Yeah, I loved it. This was good match. I think that's why I said I want to see these two kind of have a feud. I think they could have a cool little old school classical wrestling feud among all the chaotic and craziness of GCW and all the landscape that's going on there. Real fast, once you said that 3/4 of the ring, I did have one more spot from that first match, that Harlan Abbott, that he did a superplex off of somebody, like off the top rope, but when they landed, he hit the back and then just kicked right up, like as part of the bounce. It wasn't like he bounced, laid down, and then kicked up. Like They hit, and as he bounced off the mat, kept his feet up and stood up, and like that was impressive for a big man. I totally forgot to mention that note as well, but that was one thing that I did want to give him a shout out to because that was just so impressive. Yeah, Speedball, carry on good. I definitely want to see more from both interacting with each other. Let's see here. Is that all my notes for that one? Yep. All right. Next matchup is the Garbage Daddies versus the Bollywood Boys. And yeah, I think my notes will kind of piggyback off of yours here because I don't want to start saying it, but I'll piggyback off yours because it was a lot of fun stuff.
Okie dokie. All right here. So Toronto is definitely Bollywood country. Their entrance involves the whole crowd and it gave it the party atmosphere. We've experienced that in LA before. When Bollywood comes out, man, it's really enjoyable. My wife fell in love with their entrance because she likes the Knight Rider theme that's in the song, the da da. Yeah, she loves it. So the Garbage Daddies were out next. They always light up a room. The match starts and Alex says he knows the Bollywood Boys didn't come to wrestle. They came to dance. And then he does some weird hip shaky thingy that was kind of scary. Bollywood said they came to play hockey. So now we have a hockey match. What in the fuck are we doing? Holy stick chants ring out in the crowd. Alec was whipping his stick like Donatello from the Ninja Turtles. Garbage attack Bollywood from behind and we have our heels. The Garbage heel dynamic is interesting. We don't see that very often. Toronto got a rare treat in a heel Cole Radrick. Both daddies got under the fan's skin as they had the upper hand for the first half of the match. Cole squealing, getting hit in the nuts was hilarious. When is the last time we've seen a good atomic drop? I wrote here in my notes. Harv with the big macho man elbow. The Bollywood Boys executing double sharpshooters on the Garbage Daddies game. Big cheers from the fans. Goal gets a stick to the dick. Garbage Daddies had a run late in this match, and I thought they had it won. But Alec Gerv held Cole as Harv came off the top rope with another huge elbow. Cole was done. Bollywood covers for 3. Our winners here were the Bollywood Boys. And I will mention Cole was a touch rattled after that final shot, but he's a soldier and he's okay. You could see after it, he kind of got rattled a little bit from that elbow. So I'm sure he's doing fine now.
I loved this hockey game match stipulation. I loved it. I loved it. Like, what is a hockey game match? What do we do here? I love that stipulation. I love the beginning with obviously the dropping of the ball, but Cole like being like the non-hockey player. There's like, I got a glove, and he's got like the Velcro, the Velcro glove for the mitt for the ball. I loved that little thing. But yeah, I thought this was a good matchup, and I love Garbage Daddies turning heel. That made complete sense. And we got to see a little different version of it, which could kind of spice up what could possibly happen with this brass ring that Cole has. But the loss was shocking to me. I did not like the loss. I don't know. I hated them losing, actually, because it seemed like they were just starting to build some momentum to feel like credible challengers for the Violence Forever tag titles. But like at the beginning, before Cole won this ring, they were losing matches nonstop. So I don't know. The reason I hate it is because unless this leads to like Alec and Cole having tension of what Cole's going to do with the brass ring, and it leads to kind of Cole or Alec turning on Cole, because I prefer Alec as a heel too, even though his moveset is way babyface, but whatever. I don't know. Like why would you have them lose? Like I don't know. I don't like them losing. Just because he has that thing. And I know like when you have like the Money in the Bank, like you can have that person as long as they have that brass ring in their back pocket, they can lose the entire time. It's not going to matter until they get their title shot or they get the opportunity to cash it in. But I don't know. I don't like them losing. It just feels like they were just starting to build momentum, and we could maybe start planting seeds of where we're going to go with this brass ring. And it's still early too. Like I don't know. It's like, it's only been 3 months, but I'm like, I want something to happen with this damn brass ring. But
yeah,
I don't know. I was left like perplexed here.
Half the fun of having a briefcase or a brass ring storyline wise, 25 to 50% is flaunting it. Showing that you could possibly knock their feet out from under them because you have the power to, is part of what makes it so special. So I'm really hoping that when the time does come, there's a multiple episode kind of build that brings us to that instead of just, hey, he's turning it in tonight. Because again, it's a prop, and half the fun of having a prop is to be able to wrap storylines around that prop, just like a championship belt. It is practically a championship belt, damn near.
I was kind of hoping what they would do is kind of like start building up some wins, like how they were doing, and then Alex kind of getting his cocky heel, getting on the mic, coming out and confronting Violence is Forever. It's like, hey, motherfuckers, like, we're on a roll. We have this brass ring. We're about to cash in on you guys. Watch out. And then like Cole's like, wait a minute, like, that's my brass ring. I don't know what we're going to do with it, but we can still, like, that's how I envisioned this whole kind of thing kind of happening and stuff. But it is still way early. It has only been 3 months since Cole's had it, but that's the one thing I did kind of have to catch myself, because I don't know why I want something, maybe because everything else is happening so much right now. I want everything just to kind of have chaos, but because everything's happening so much right now, Cole can just keep it chill with that ring and do whatever off to the side with it until the time is right. And then, as you said, start heating it up a little bit more. So I was just kind of expecting that heating up. I thought that's what they were doing. Getting all these wins was starting to heat it up. And then this loss just kind of threw me for a spiral. I just kind of, for me, it just defeated the whole momentum building that you've been doing with the Garbage Daddies as of late. But who knows what's still to happen for a long ass time, as long as Cole has the brass ring.
I do like how Cole at least keeps it around his neck on his entrance. Keep it on, on camera the whole time. All he has to do is snap his fingers and say yes, and he's in your match now. I like that. That's an instant threat. So yeah, I think we're both saying the same thing, just in a different flavor, damn near. But we both want the same thing here. We just want to see it done right. All right. Yeah, I think that's all I had to say about that one. Yeah.
All right.
Gosh, I feel thrown off tonight, man. I feel way thrown off tonight. I'm not gonna lie. It's weird. I don't know.
I think
it's just because we did something new.
Yeah, that too. I thought we were going to fly through kind of backyard, because I didn't have as many notes as I guess you did on the backyard. All my notes were really for this show mostly, and then a little bit of the next one. But I think that's what kind of has thrown me off a little bit. But it's all good. We got to hear fun, cool stories, and got to hear from Lil Skittlez. Like, I think that's so cool that he's on our show, and boom, 2 weeks later, match. Like, that's it. That we had anything to do with it. Just cool. Like, we had no idea. Like, it's just it was just cool having him on. Yeah,
and then Nate, we wanted to have him on the last one, and everything was just filled, and then the poor guy ended up with some killer headache, and I know what those are about. And I'm like, dude, you relax, there's always time for another show. And it just so happened that he was live for the backyard event, and it was just when we started to do this bring fans on thing. Perfect either way. But let's see here, we're definitely going to be doing more of that. We were going to have another person come on tonight, but they were unable to because they were under the weather. So we're going to get them on next time we get a chance also. Yeah, we are kind of flying through Worst Behavior, aren't we? So far.
Yeah, a little bit. It's all right. We got 2 more matches and we still got another show, but like I said, I think we both kind of took light notes on the IWS versus Scarred, because it was a little bit different than what it was last time. Real fast before we hop in the next match, I want to get your opinion here, because I know where I kind of lie, and I don't know where you lie here. Cole Radrick and Graphouse, and out here in Vegas, he's kind of works as a better heel than a face. I think that's because the opponents he's also wrestled to, that's kind of fit more him being a heel going against like the vocal Vegas people makes sense. But I kind of prefer Cole as a face. What do you prefer Cole as, a heel or a face?
Okay. I want to say face because I know enough of the guy to say that I know that he enjoys that part of everything. Anytime I can see something like Cole Radrick here in Canada, when he was up here for that show as a heel, it's just a different monster. And you know what? Every now and then I get tired of chocolate and I want to taste vanilla. So it's really nice sometimes that he switches up his game a little bit. I didn't have Garbage Daddies being the bad guys until it happened. And then I'm like, all right, cool. Let's see what goes on here. Because I really thought Bollywood was going to be the bad ones in this. And then I'm like, wait, they're kind of in home territory in Canada. So Yeah, someone
I
had to
thought it'd
do
be
the
at least
job and they
dueling
did it.
chance.
Yeah. Okay, so great one. You're talking about, over at Grap House. I've been there for a couple of the shows there where he's been heel, and he does some damn good work. He got me one time where he acted like his leg was broken.
Was that the match against Bodie?
Bodie G Sharp. I can't remember which one it was, but man, I just, you really, I felt like one of my kids were yelling from across the wrestling ring, my leg. I'm like, oh my God, he just hurt his leg. And yeah, but oh, look here. Reed, Cole does scummy heel in Paradigm as well. So there we go. But yeah, from a GCW perspective, okay, yeah, he was saying Nick Sander. Now we're talking local, that's for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what it was. As I said it, like I was like, wait. Then once you said G Sharp, I'm like, no, I think actually the match I was thinking about Bodie was the one they had with Starboy Charlie, where Starboy turned heel, which was funny and interesting to see as well. All right, back to GCW.
We ready to roll?
Yes, back to GCW Worst Behavior. Our next matchup was Gabe Kidd versus Joey Janela. I was just looking forward to this match to see the craziness of Gabe Kidd and the bad boy and the craziness of Joey Janela. I think last week I said I wanted them to just have a stiff war, just beat the shit out of each other and have like just chaos everywhere. Kind of got a little bit of that. I love seeing I read the wrong one. I love seeing Gabe Kidd here with the attitude. He's on I love he's kind of found his character with the out there in New Japan, and now he's bringing it to GCW with the War Dogs. And Joey Janela was like the perfect opponent, I think, for Gabe Kidd to show off his talent. And yeah, this was one of those matchups that I think everyone in GCW asks for when they come here to work. They always want the Joey Janela match, and this will finally Gabe Kidd getting able to get this chance was cool. And I just kind of hope it means he'll be around for a little bit more longer since he got booked in Toronto. So I'm hoping that kind of leads to Gabe Kidd working a little bit more GCW shows in the future.
Yeah, fingers crossed. This is Gabe Kidd's GCW singles debut. I saw that, Reed. Yeah. I know them both very well. Actually, I haven't talked to Xander in a while. I got to get a hold of him sometime.
That match I was thinking of was a long time ago.
Yeah, I haven't talked to Xander in a while. I got to get a hold of him sometime. Good dude. Yeah, this was Gabe Kidd's GCW singles debut. We'd been used to seeing him with Alex Coughlin in an amazing team called the War Dogs. Now on his own, he locked in the NJPW Strong Openweight Championship, 59 days and counting. Gabe grabs the mic. Fuck Canadians. I'm from England. Fuck you bitches. Janela's out next. Fuck him up, Joey. Fuck him up. Chants are coming from the crowd. It took less than 1 minute to start fighting to the outside, and the first half of the match featured quite a bit of that. Toronto fans were calling for blood, then just a little blood chant. Joey hit a nasty power bomb on a large Gabe Kidd. We also had a German suplex duel with both trading suplexes on each other. Gabe's biggest pop of the night was pretending he's jerking off. Gabe with a huge lariat. Joey kicks out at 1. Gabe with a pile driver that finally puts out Joey's lights for 3. Our winner here was Gabe Kidd. The match speed was more NJPW and less GCW. Gabe then asked Joey to find him at NJPW. My opinion, Joey will bring a lot of personality to a roster that mostly lacks it. Great wrestlers, though. Now, don't hate me. Don't kill me here. I just had to say that, though. To me, I look at the roster at NJPW and I'm like, these are all fantastic wrestlers, but all of them are very mid in the personality category, and I feel a lot of them with a little character development or personality development would be stars. So I don't know. I just want to put that out there to you because I know you're an NJPW guy a little bit, and I'm like, he's gonna crucify me if I say that, but it's an opinion.
No, I agree, because I think that's where Gabe Kidd, now that he's not part of the team with Alec Coughlin, I think now he had to step up and show his different personality, and now we get to see the craziness. I think that's what elevated him in my eyes to the next level for me as a fan of him, was just seeing his personality and character just take it up a next level, and I'm glad to see that. Another one like I always think of is the Maloney. Was it Driller Maloney?
Yeah.
Like his work out in New Japan's been fantastic, but we're getting to see a different version of him that we didn't get to see too much of when he was wrestling out out in the UK, I believe it was. But I just love seeing like those people in New Japan, like finally finding their footing and taking that next step. And Gabe Kidd for me is like one of the latest ones to find their footing there and take it to the next level and get over now with the US crowd from a New Japan promotion.
I just feel like if they had one Effie to kind of coach all those guys over there on bringing out and turning up the volume on your personalities, a lot of them would be much bigger stars. I mean, yeah, I'm not going to go further into it. It's just, yeah, I'm not going to go further into it. All right. Are we, was that everything you had to say? I don't know if we went on to our next match. I have been off today. Okay. So here's what's going on, everyone. I've been sick for like a week and a half. Nobody can really hear it. I'm on a ton of cold medication. So this is why I'm kind of off tonight, just so you guys know. Yeah, I was running a fever up until 2 days ago. So sorry. But we're back at it, and I try not to quit. So here's where we are. So
all right. Our next matchup of GCW Worst Behavior was Charles Mason versus Jordan Oliver. And yeah, I'll let you go on your notes here, and then I think I'll be at the end. We'll be discussing a lot more.
Sure. Yeah, we're going to talk about you and Mason having an issue out there on. Okay. Well, it's still real to you, damn it. That's for sure. You were on him. Yeah, Charles was out first. He knocks a fan's hat off. He comes out looking like he's ready to attack someone. He's got that look like he's always stalking with intent, even during his entrance to the ring. Jordan's out next. He's not the usual poppy self, is a good way to put it. And now that I know the situation, he was ginger on that knee. Charles openly yelling at the crowd before the match. The bell rings and Mason goes straight for the leg. Jordan's in pain. He goes down. Perch was checking on Jordan. Mason kills time by grabbing a chair. Jordan works to the best of his abilities, but he's physically impaired, and I really do hate to see this as a hardcore fan. Mason was thrown into a pole and spinning into the crowd, hitting a fan that collapses a chair that a fan was sitting in. Another fan yells, "Get back in there, you bitch," talking to Mason about going to the ring. Jordan goes for the clout cutter. Mason works that left leg for the remainder of the match. This match did a bit to strengthen Mason's character as a bad guy. Mason catches a clout cutter and turned it into a chokehold. I thought that was quite an interesting move, but there was a quick roll up here, and that is how Jordan got his win at the 13-minute mark. I will say here, though, Jordan was in a lot of pain. And according to what's going on right now, he's out for 9 to 12 months. If that's the situation, I would have put over Mason. Mason is the one who's going to be there for the next year. It's just like if you're retiring, you put over the young guy. Same situation. This is about continuity. So yeah, I would have done that though. Also, this basically weakened a heel that would have been there for the next 9 to 12 months, where his reputation is everything, especially as a heel. And it didn't need to go 13 minutes. The last 5 minutes I felt made the same point. So, I mean, again, this is just maybe me being a little rough on it. After the match, Charles continues with the attack on Jordan's knee. The last shot may have hurt him as Mason targeted the opposite leg. You can actually see him hesitate and think for a minute. So I don't know if that's something he did on accident, or maybe Jordan's leg was really not doing well and he's like, well, maybe the fans won't notice. I'll work the other leg. Or it was just a mistake. Either way, I wanted to mention it just for a second because I saw it, and old me wouldn't have said anything, but me now, who knows a lot more people, know that, you know what, it's just more of a laughter thing, and also it could have been a safety thing. Mason grabs a mic and said he heard it pop. He said he feels he just ended Jordan's career. That's the nasty stuff that I want to hear out of my heel. I'm stopping right there because you have a ton to say. Jordan Oliver's flag hangs right behind your head. You are a huge fan of Jordan Oliver. The equivalent to me is like Cole Radrick going down. So I want to talk to you about this because Jordan Oliver is one of the people that you really, I mean, is part of your inspiration for what you do. And I know this isn't easy for you, but it's like, I'd rather you sit here and talk it out and kind of, you know, because this is important to you.
How much do I owe you for this therapy session here, and how much time we got? Because I know it's 10 o'clock. We
have time for that. We do
No,
have time. Here's where we're sitting at. We've got 1 or 2 more matches here, and then that IWS show. I only did 4 of them because I didn't have time, unfortunately, and it wasn't a GCW show. It was an IWS show with GCW talent included. So the 4 matches that I do have covered on here were the 4 most important matches with the biggest stars, the GCW. Okay, go ahead and take a seat on the couch. I'm going to go ahead and grab my notepad and pen here. Please tell me how you feel. Yeah, you better fucking lay down. I hope you took Tylenol. Okay, so yeah, yeah. I know you said you were kind of in denial because you're like, this is more
I was in denial this morning. Yeah. So during the match, first of all, did Perch like stop the match like immediately too, like 2 minutes in? Like I remember a bell being rang when he was tending to Jordan after like Jordan crumpled of throwing punches and chops to him in the corner. Yeah. So that right there was like, what the hell happened? Why did he call for the bell? Like, and I don't think it was the bell to start the match because they already had like a couple action in the ring. So that right there kind of like made me wonder, is Jordan's injury real? Number one, and they were just like, hey, we're going to go out there. I'm going to see how long I can last. And then like, hey, maybe 2 minutes in, like Perch made that call. Yeah. I don't know. And then the match continued. And to me, he looked not just fine, but fine enough where he's selling. Like it was a sell job. And I know I talked about this last week when we were discussing, like, is this real? Is he really hurt or is he selling? And I was kind of like, I'm hoping he's selling, and I really enjoy the continuity of selling between weeks and shows of an injury. And as Reed Cooper here says, this is another thing that kind of was making me question everything. Why are they blaming Mason for this injury when it really started with Mance Warner back in Albuquerque is when this knee injury first started? I guess you want to give Mason the credit to build up for a feud and to build, as you were saying, build Mason over. Which, okay, I get that part, and I'm fine with that. And I think I've said it before, and I said it even last week. I think when I first said it was when we were talking about who we wanted in the gauntlet. I picked Mason and Jordan because those are your best young face talent and your best young heel talent, and might as well start building them up during this gauntlet. And I would love to see them have some sort of feud and everything. And I love that they're feuding because now we get the answer of what I asked a couple weeks ago when Mason attacked Fuego. Was he just using Fuego to get you Jordan? That's absolutely what it seems like right now. But seeing Jordan move, I was like, he's selling. It's good. And the way commentary, even before the match started, was talking and hyping up this knee injury when we really didn't hear about it the day before at Backyard Wrestling. That was another kind of red flag with me. Like I was still 50-50 on everything. Even after I went back and watched it, I caught the same thing as you did. Mason at the end of the match attacked the wrong leg. So this is definitely a work job. And Jordan, like everyone saying, like immediately Mason saying his career's over. I heard it pop like right there. It's story. This is just Jordan's going to take 2 weeks off and come back and then beat the shit out of Mason to set up a homecoming match. That's kind of what I'm really hoping deep down as a Jordan Oliver fan is kind of really what's still happening. And that's kind of what I went to bed with thinking. But then this morning, waking up and seeing him getting pulled from Black Label, kind of that right there, taking him not having a match with Trevor Lee that's where I know it's serious. So I wonder if he was serious heading into these couple of weeks and then just realized, as he kind of said, it kind of got hurt worse during that Mason match. And that's what's happening. But then I thought the same way. Why would you have Jordan win that match against Mason? I love I love how they got to that. Like that's just one thing I love about Jordan as of late, just doing these small little things, like him in that chokehold, punching Mason's leg to get Mason to lift his leg up for him to catch it, flip it over, and hold it. I love that. I love the ending. I absolutely loved it. But it doesn't make sense to me either. If Jordan is going away for 9 to 12 months, why? And it was kind of already it seems like it was already kind of known that was going to happen. Why would you not let Mason just demolish Jordan in like a no contest? There was no match. Mason just destroyed his leg, put Jordan on the shelf, and then Jordan is on the shelf, and now Mason has all this heat, and he's got the momentum of putting one of GCW's top performers on the shelf for almost a year, and he could use that in his future promos. And now you built up a heel. Not that he needs even more building up, but I think with this loss, like, yeah, you just kind of took the wind underneath the sails. Like, I wrote to Mason, he lost to a like, how's it feel to lose to a one-legged person in an ass kicking contest? Like, what the fuck? Like, why would you do that? So I didn't like that at all. Being the biggest Jordan fan, I don't understand why he got the victory over Mason as well, especially if he's going to be gone now. It kind of totally doesn't make any wrestling booking sense to me. But I think now I have came to the conclusion that Jordan really is hurt. I do hope him a speedy recovery. This is probably like the longest he's been out with an injury for a long time. And I know wrestling is his only thing. So I do have to give a shout out to Jordan. Please come back. If you're bored and you want to come in and talk shit about Mason, happy to come on and do that. I'll join in with you. But damn, that's a big blow, I think, to GCW right now. And to me personally, as a Jordan fan and GCW fan, that one kind of really sucked. All of the cool things that I thought was just starting to happen with him and Mason and the cool story they were telling is swiped under the rug for me right now. I'm still hoping there's a 1% chance that Jordan doesn't have to get surgery. He goes like I did therapy for a couple weeks and he could come back and have this match at Homecoming, but that's like a very, very low pipe dream for me right now. But damn, I was so excited of everything this match provided, and obviously all the talking points that could come to it. It just sucks now that he will be gone, but hopefully when he comes back, I'm hoping Mason is in a way bigger place than GCW, and Jordan now could come back to the hero's welcome that I thought he should have gotten. They should have brought him back a little bit in a more important kind of way than they did, coming back from his excursion. I think that's what I personally would have done, being as big a star he is in GCW. But hopefully when he returns from this injury, he gets like the surprise return, the hero's welcome, and he gets his comeuppance on Mason, and they could kind of continue the feud here. Because I think that's something that GCW is missing now, is building up young contenders, building up your young heels, young faces to be the next top stars in the company. And those two is where I would start off with in GCW.
Everything Jordan Oliver said in that video that he put out about the situation is very true. Yeah, that's all I'll say about that. That was a concern for a very long time, and he told exactly the truth. There was something that was bugged for the longest time. He tried to work through it. No lies. That's something he said for the longest time, and I guess whatever had happened, it had just caught up, unfortunately. And again, we love Jordo. So as soon as he can get himself back in order, we're going to be waiting for him to succeed. And we're hoping to see him do so. What do we got?
Sorry.
Reed Cooper.
Here's how I would actually kind of backwards book that now that we kind of know what's happening and everything. Brett should say, like, no, fucking Mason is banned. I would bring Mason into Deathmatch Royalty somehow, some way. Not remove, but let Mance and kind of Steph do their own little thing. And now we got another heater for Cardona. Cardona's like, no, I need a killer. I need somebody that could help protect Mance and protect my champions. I could see Mason kind of working with Cardona in this kind of sense of to book himself out of like, oh, why would I book Mason again if he just did that to one of our top stars? That's how I would book myself out of that. It's just weird. Like, I don't know. I don't understand why Mason gets that loss there, but we'll see. We will see. And big hopes to Jordan recover soon. And can't wait to see him back in a ring, especially GCW ring. All right. Well, I lost my screen. There we go. All right. Is that it at all? Like, I think
that's it on that one. I'm good with that one.
I could go another hour bitching, crying, and complaining about. I'll cut it off there. Our next matchup was a 6-person tag match, as it was Team Bussy teaming with Masha Slamovich, who was also filling in for an injured Nick Gage, going against the team of Green Phantom, PCP, Crazy Fucking Manny, and Sexy Eddie. Whew. Yeah, this was a lot of fun ones. I love this IWS IWS versus GCW stuff. I love when they kind of go at it, and this was a perfect talent to represent both companies, I think, for this show.
Phantom, Manny, and Eddie combined for 75 years of wrestling experience. Ali, Effie, and Masha combined for 26. Just wanted to put that out there. Bussy and Masha come out to huge cheers. Bussy chants in the crowd. Bussy is still waiting for their mystery partner. Then we hear Not Like Us from Kendrick Lamar. Phantom, Manny, and Eddie. God, it's hard to say all this. They come out and it's like Manny grabs a mic and says he chose that music specifically for the Toronto fans. He then says he beat both of these people twice this year. Brett better give us our money because there isn't a man in that locker room that can beat us. And that's when we hear Masha Slamovich's music. We went with a very hot start. Bussy and Masha attack, bodies everywhere. There were no tag rules in this match, just chaos. The first few minutes, TIWS had the upper hand. Here come the cheese graters. You sick fuck from the fans. Everybody's getting cheese graters to the face. Ali got it to the tongue. Ali had Eddie by the nipples. Out come the skewers being hammered into Phantom, Eddie, and Manny's foreheads. Masha follows up with a nasty chair shot to Manny's skewer-covered head. We want tables. Then a fan yells, we want flaming tables. Next, fans chant, we want tables. Then the fan yells at the end of the chant, flaming tables. Finally, we want flaming tables. It was fun watching Canadian fans work out their wrestling needs in real time. Eddie slams Masha on the stage head first. Then Manny brings out a custom-made, hand-painted door with the words Nick fucking Gage and a big GCW Worst Behavior written underneath. That's heartbreaking that someone made that, especially with Nick's likeness on it. Team IWS was spitting on the door, of course, doing what they do. But Bussy take over. There's fighting on the stage. Effie puts Manny up on his shoulders and throws him into the ring and through the door for the win. Our winners here, Bussy and Masha Slamovich. Quick 9-minute match on this one. Obviously, another match was planned by Team IWS instead, but next time when it comes to Nick Gage. So what were your thoughts on this one?
It was good recovery. Obviously, missing Nick Gage in this match kind of hurt a lot. I actually when I heard that Nick Gage was not going to be there, I was kind of hoping they'd save him for the match with PCP Manny the next night, because I know that's something Manny's been tweeting since last year, if not longer. He's been tweeting since last time GCW was there. He wants that damn Nick Gage match. So I actually got a little heartbroken for Manny with the Nick Gage match. And then I'm trying to think where he got injured in that Orin Vite match. It could just be a culmination of a bunch of different things happening, but I kind of felt bad for Manny there. But I think
didn't Orin land on Nick's leg? Isn't that the one where it landed on his leg and he was like, "Ow"?
I'll be honest, I can't remember.
I'll go back and look if I get a chance.
I should have gone back.
I swear what happened was Orin landed on Nick's left leg from the knee to the ankle, like body weight landed on it. And I think that might have been a little funky for him, but I'm not 100% sure. And my mind is very hazy at times. So,
but Masha stepping up and being the replacement for Nick Gage, I thought that was super cool and a surprise for me. We haven't seen Masha in a little bit of time, it feels like, in GCW. So her popping up and causing the chaos, I thought was cool. And I thought this was a good IWS GCW match and fun for IWS fans to see their favorites interact with all the GCW favorites. I think that's something that I always look forward to when they go out there and do these kind of shows.
So this is our second time seeing Roy and Archer. They just weren't a tag team at that time. Both debuted on March 2nd earlier this year at IWS GCW unfucking sanctioned 25th anniversary. What's up?
You better introduce that match then. We didn't even introduce the match yet. You're going in the notes already.
Oh my goodness. See what I'm saying? I'm just hanging on by a thread.
We have to crush through these here. It's getting late.
Oh my goodness. John.
All right. The next match that John was so looking forward to talking to is the GCW Tag Team title match, as it is Violence is Forever defending against Team Dynasty, Jackson Roy and Sway Archer. Who is this? This is the second time we've seen him. Is that correct, John?
This is the second time. But they weren't a tag team at that time. Yeah,
Oh.
so I wasn't bullshitting the first time. This was they both debuted on March 2nd earlier this year at IWS versus GCW, unfucking sanctioned 25th anniversary. They took part in a 6-way match for #1 contendership of the IWS Canadian title. Dynasty was out first. I have to say, Mikey is working his fucking ass off out there, hyping up the fans. I liked it a lot. If more worked their position like him, it would keep the manager position alive in wrestling. I recommend leaving climbing the turnbuckles, though, for the wrestlers in the match, not for the support characters. It blurs the lines of who's who and who's wrestling out there. But again, that's personal opinion only. Much respect. Violence is Forever comes out. Everyone is singing their song. Then a minute later, they're being booed for them attacking Dynasty from behind. In the last 3 to 4 matches, though, I will say Violence is Forever have really stepped up their team offense. And that has been some of the most impressive work I've seen from them. New champ chants from the Toronto crowd. Kuhn Guarini spent the last minute of the match breaking down Dynasty piece by piece. They gang up on Jackson and finish him off. Our winners here, Violence is Forever, in a very quick 7-minute match. I'll stop there before I give my opinion on anything else. What were your thoughts on this one?
I just wrote quick. That was a quick match. I was expecting kind of longer, it being a title match, more than 7-8 minutes. With Violence is Forever too, also making the trip to Canada for GCW as well. But yeah, Team Dynasty, they looked pretty good together. And I thought this was a solid tag match. Nowhere did I think there were going to be new champs involved anywhere. But I thought this was a good matchup, and it was cool to see Violence is Forever out in Canada with GCW.
So my thoughts here on Dynasty. I felt like it's an excellent team. I'm still going to mention Mikey again and the importance of a modern day hype man who could do his job. He's good. The team is good. There are shades of Culture Inc. here because I see an athletic team and also having one of the best hype men in the game today. So I just wanted to put that out there that, the modern day manager is kind of a dead spot. However, there are people that can harness that energy properly and really hype up the crowd. And Mikey Truth is one of those. So I just want to give him his, flowers in this scenario. A video plays of Blake Christian finally explaining his side of the situation as promised by Blake in our Game Changer Weekly chat. He also calls Cardona a fake GM and Mance a fake GCW champion. Outcome Deathmatch Royalty, Matt, Steph DeLander, and Broski Jimmy Lloyd. We want Chelsea chants as they're coming out here. SDL says she promised herself to only work in the USA because Canada sucks. Matt then grabs the mic. Toronto is the shits, he says. This building sucks. There wasn't even a parking spot for my limo. Matt starts a "you fat fuck" chant, making fun of someone in the crowd, says he's only here to see Chelsea Green win Money in the Bank. You want Chelsea? She's not fucking here, is what Cardona said. When she wins, I'll be known as one half of Mrs. Money in the Bank. He hypes the 3-way ladder match between Mance, Blake, and Janela. That's when Blake's music hits. We have a lot of lead up to the main event, and I like it. Blake said he has 3 possibilities as to why Cardona would strip his title. Number 1, Matt's injury makes it hard for him to make money, and it's hard to pay the bills like SDL. So he gives her boyfriend a chance at being the world champion. And she said, well, that's all right. So number 2, Matt Cardona is feeling better, but he can't beat Blake. That's the next option. And then number 3, this is Blake's favorite option. Chelsea moans Blake's name, and Matt don't like that. So that is where we had our little bit of a tussle after this Violence is Forever match. Matt was not happy, and so he calls out Mance Warner. Mance's music hits. Mance comes out. This is where I have one of my favorite moments. Cardona goes back to commentary. I like that a lot because he's selling the angle. He's letting us know what this GM is thinking, how legitimate or illegitimate he may be in the position. But this is furthering the storyline, and this is very thick storytelling. And this is kind of the stuff that I like. And this is what separates the larger companies from the independents, I think, would be engaging stories like this. So I like to see this, and I think it's a good step forward.
I was happy to finally hear from Blake. That little promo was awesome.
Yes.
I loved how he kind of sat there and made fun of Mance with the little accent and hit the pay win. I loved it. That was
hit the pay window.
it was so good. I'm getting tears over here, man.
Oh.
That was one of the best promos I've seen Blake do. I loved it. I wish I would have been out in front of fans because they would have ate that shit up, I think. But he killed it in that promo. I kind of talked about some stuff that we were talking about. Cardona being a fake GM and whatever he says not going to matter. Saying that Cardona maybe he is starting to get a little bit healed back up, and he knows that he can't beat Blake for the belt, so he has to put the belt on someone else that he thinks he could beat. We talked about that being a possibility with Cardona. I loved how he talked about all the cool different things that like kind of we were talking about here, but I think he's got a good points here, and this matchup obviously was just, as you wrote, the lead up to the match. I loved every single one of those things. I thought that was like cool. Like I just expected, all right, now this person's coming out. Now the next person's coming out. I loved that because I just wanted to hear everyone interact. And I wanted to hear a little bit more promo from Mansa regarding this matchup, but it seemed like it was more Blake's time to get the shine and get the talking in. So I'm glad that happened. And this match was the actual matchup. I know we haven't even gone over any of it yet, but that's what I want from GCW challengers to the world title. Them fighting legitimately to hold on to the title of the king of the GCW. And they went out there and had a intense matchup. They were willing to leave it all out there. Joey coming out with all this, like, it was just a chaotic ending that I love to see end shows because it's a big cliffhanger for what's going to happen next week. But it's finally just to be able to hear Blake give his side of the story for me heading into this matchup was a big thing for me. And I am looking forward to what's going to happen in this triple threat match.
I just got to get it out of there because it hurts inside to let it stay in here. I'll just blurt it out. When Blake came back, I would have turned him face. I would have had him come back as the shining guy who went, wait a minute, what the fuck happened to my title? This and that. And he was said, I don't care if you guys like me or not. I'm fighting for something here I earned. And then goes after Manson that way. But again, that's wildly a 180 turnaround from what he's currently been booked as for the last year. So it would almost nullify everything he built. I still like my idea, but now I think I talked myself out of it. But I'm looking forward to a turn because I feel like there's a lot of fans like you and me that feel like he is the rightful GCW champion. So, and
I think he's better as a face than a heel anyway. It's just based off his moveset and wrestling, like his character. Obviously now his character is leaning into the heel stuff, but I think naturally he just comes off way more authentic and I think could connect with the crowd a little bit better as a face. But with the stuff that he's been doing as a heel now has been wonderful. And for him to kind of come back and quickly to have the crowd change it, it's going to take some work. And I think having like Blake come out if Mance Warner is beating up Nick Gage and having Blake come out to save Nick, that would be like kind of the only way to turn Blake at this point.
It's a rough day for me, guys. He said no one is a Blake face, which I get it. Kev, I will never cheer him. Might as well stick to heel. Now I'm going to go back up there, Elwick, just for a minute here. He says this feels like something Blake can really sink his teeth into, and it's showing in his work. I've always been a fan, but his work is starting to feel distinctive. I think that last word there, distinctive, is a good way to put it because we seem to be running into a very distinct phase with Blake Christian, and I feel like I know him a hell of a lot more than I did a year and a half ago on screen. And I want to see how he handles this type of adversity because heels always have the upper hand. And right now we have a Blake Christian heel who does not have the upper hand. He's fighting on his back. And that's really interesting for a heel to be, that's really interesting for the heel dynamic is to have someone who should be the big bad guy actually fighting from his back position. So we'll see how that goes. And
going into this match, we haven't really seen Mercer since Blake's return either. So is that still a thing? Mercer having Blake's back? I wonder how that's going to affect anything coming up at Homecoming.
Ooh, that's another rabbit hole right there that I don't think I'll go down right now.
I know it's getting
did you announce the main event yet, or am I just
nope? We'll go into it. Blake Christian
Dayquil
versus Mance Warner, non title match, as it was very clearly stated, because we don't know who the hell the champion is anyway. So, yeah, I did see the announcement for St. Louis. So that's one thing that we can hopefully they will start bringing that back into the forefront of GCW fans. All right, while you read this real fast, I'm going to step away for 2 seconds.
No sweat.
You're good. Go ahead.
Let's see here. We also have Reed said Blake and Mercer versus Joey and Megan for July 19th. Nice. Also, I just want to mention this here because I do have a moment. Reed, thank you so much for correct. Reed, you've been like awesome tonight on this stuff. Yeah, Mikey is usually the partner of Jackson, so he isn't the hype man. So what I'll tell you what though, if he was shooting for it, he'd do a damn good job with it. All right, so we're going to go ahead into this non-title hardcore match. Yeah, Toronto fans were not happy that this was a non-title match at all. Emil also announced both men as the GCW World Champion, which, as Emil announced Blake, it really kind of pissed off Mance and vice versa when Mance was announced. So I have to say that turning up the volume on Mance has paid off in dividends. He didn't get to go around the ring this time and fuck with the fans. And I feel that's instrumental in everything that he's doing to be a bad guy. And the reason why I say that is because he didn't go out this time. And it seemed like a lot more people liked his heel work. So it does seem to be almost instrumental that some of that work that he's doing in the fans' faces before he even gets in the ring is making sure that we don't Stone Cold Steve Austin him. And he's a badass and we love him. You know what I mean? Because I've said that since the beginning of this show, is that with the voice that he has and the, it's just, he has a likability to him. And unless he tries, he's easy to like. So yeah, to me, I always thought he was an, oh hell yeah, drink beer, Stone Cold kind of guy. And it's been 25 years. Why not have another one come around that's somewhere in that same vein? But we'll see what happens there. But yeah, Mance plays an incredible game of balance every time he goes out there because of that likability factor. So Matt Cardona says, Joey can't be the face of GCW. He's missing a tooth. We can't have that on the trucks, Dave. Dave said, we have trucks? Veda said, is that where the chairs for commentary are at? Blake spent some time... Blake spent some of the match, I think is a better way to put it, working on Mance's arm and shoulder. He started by wrapping it around the pole and a huge double stomp to his arm. Fans with dueling All Heart and Mancer chants, which I found very interesting here. Matt mentions Blake tore his muscle off his chest years ago. Now, is that a motivational factor in this story, Brant? The fact that Blake fucked up Matt years ago?
It could be. Like, that's why I kind of liked when he did bring that up a little bit, because that's where, yeah, Cardona got his first injury. That was at the Vegas show.
And it's reoccurring. Yeah. My first show, I think.
Yeah, that was the downward spiral, I think. Or no, not downward spiral, the one before that. Yeah, that was the one we were sitting next to. Each other. We didn't know. Yeah, that was an injury. That's why I was kind of wondering too, where if Blake, when especially like during the wedding, remember Blake was saying like how big of a fan he was of Cardona and stuff. Like, they have a history before, like when even Blake was a face. So I was kind of hoping we'd hear a little bit more on how that's kind of affecting Matt Cardona's decision making when it comes to Blake being the GCW World Champion.
You know what? My next note is on Perch. I don't want to go too far, but my next note is on Perch. I just realized when it comes to that Jordan match, we could just ask Perch next week.
That's why I actually made that comment to my wife earlier. I'm like, I'm going to have a little talk with Perch here next week about what the hell was going on during that Jordan match.
Also, as soon as we can have some more guests on, I do already have another that's ready to come on. So as soon as we can, we do have another performer for GCW that is a regular that is ready to jump on as soon as we find room. The only problem we have right now is that GCW is running shows every weekend, and usually we have guests on when there are empty weekends. So we have this one here coming up with Perch, but past that, I don't think we have anybody in August because there's just no dead weekends. GCW is just coming. Yeah. So, yeah, Mance shoved Perch. Perch absolutely gets no respect. Mance's arm is impairing his offense. We could see that early, but he still had enough capability to bend a chair across Blake's back. Chairs and doors are now in play as both are digging things out from underneath the ring. Chairs are being bent from their own body weight, slamming on them. Fans are giving us a red chair chant. Mance Warner hits a nasty DDT through a door bridge. Then there's a fight to a bar area. I think that's what it was. Mance throws a beer to the crowd. Both men down at the 15-minute mark, and the fans start clapping out of respect. It really has been a good fight. Veda says Blake's showing some old sparks of the All-Heart days. Hint, hint, possibly. Is that a clue? Now, again, we just talked about this. I'm all for a face Blake right now, and I feel we need a hero, but I think we touched on that earlier. Quite a few people not such a big fan of that. But I do agree still to this day, we do need a hero. Every story needs a hero. So I'll be curious to see who develops, because we don't have a hero right now. If anything, a hero is going to come from one of these heels.
Joey. Technically, I guess Joey's the Lord and Savior right now to save GCW at the moment.
See what happens. Mance, I don't know at this point. Mance was placed on a door laid across the ropes. He hits the double stomp twice, but the door was too well placed and didn't have enough area to give for it to break. Shit happens. Moments later, Broski arrives ringside to interfere. Blake hits the 450 and covers. Janela interferes and breaks the count. Janela threatens SDL, who just came out also. Broski hits Joey from behind. SDL and Broski working over Joey on the mat. Out comes Megan Bain with a huge spear on Jimmy. We have a stare down between Megan and SDL, and every bit of that feels real, and we haven't even had a build yet. Right now, right here, that's when I think I'll just go ahead and call the match a no contest. I don't know when a no contest was actually called. Mance attacks Megan from behind and grabs the screwdriver out of his boot. Real boots, by the way, not the fake painted on boots that Adam Page has. Bodies everywhere. We're back to Blake and Mance. Blake curb stomps Megan Bain. He tosses the screwdriver into the ring and he rolls out. Mance grabs the screwdriver. Wow. Mance grabs the screwdriver. Joey's picked up by SDL and Broski. He's being forced to watch Megan's eye being injured via screwdriver stabbing. Megan is wrecked. Referees are attending. Mance, SDL, and Broski Jimmy stand tall as we go off the air. I wanted to just put a little note here that said Blake and Mance worked really well together. I'm starting to question Blake's motives. And I think that was the point of Blake actions when he curb stomped Megan. Jeez, I can't talk. Is Blake aligned with Deathmatch Royalty, or is it every man for themselves and she just caught a stray? And if they are together in this case with Blake and Mance, does that mean Joey's getting double fucked? I'm kind of wondering here.
I think they're coming at it from two different heel ways, like to fuck Joey over. Absolutely. And I think that's what's kind of good right now. That I think that's why Joey is our hero right now to kind of save GCW from Blake and Mance.
Holding on to a hero.
Is that a song? What's that?
I'm an 80s kid. That's definitely a song. I need a hero. Holding on to the hero. Oh, who sang it? Come on, Reed. I need one of us old guys to tell us who sang that. That's an old 80s song.
I couldn't get that. I was like,
that was also in Shrek for you 90s kids. It was in Shrek for those 90s kids.
But I think Blake's coming out of it as like, hey, he's doing whatever he can to say. What I think he's trying to get Blake to go after. I think Blake's being like the cowardly one that's going to let Mance and Joey sit there and beat each other up, and then Blake's going to come in for the save, like for the hero save for himself at the end. But I think he's doing kind of like the cowardly lion. Mance is just the one that's, I'm going to sit here and fight no matter what, and fight anybody and everybody to keep his pay window nice and strong and to keep the championship. But yeah, I think they're both absolutely going after Joey to eliminate him from the picture. And I think that's smart for both heels. And as you said, I think Mance and Blake for a heel versus heel main event match in like Toronto, that was fun. They both killed it. Like I said, I felt the struggle from both of them. I didn't think it would turn out this way. I think last week I said I kind of hope that both of them just stare at each other and don't like, fuck this. Why are we going to hurt each other? We're not going to wrestle and just like totally heal the crowd over that way. But they went out and killed each other. And I thought that was cool and good to show that what the championship means to both of them. And See, and I think Joey, if I was Joey, I would have just let them beat the shit, stay out of it, let them beat the shit out of each other, and then come in and try to pick up the scraps. I guess that's kind of what he tried to do, but then he quickly realized he was outnumbered by all the deathmatch royalty. So I'm loving everything they have going. As Reed said earlier too, they got to keep on playing into the story here, heading into Homecoming. They got Mason, Mercer, and Blake teaming up going against Joey and Megan. I think that's cool. I want to see these three still interacting with each other somehow, some way, all the way to Homecoming. And that ladder match is getting more intriguing by the moment, and I'm excited for it.
Blake Christian needs a girlfriend now. All the other contenders have girlfriends. Maybe it's Shane Mercer. Sitting in a tree. I don't know, but I feel like he's missing a valet, or he's missing somebody to wrestle with him.
Maybe Blake gets Charles Mason, to kind of help cover his back in this matchup. I don't know.
Everybody else has cover.
Somebody. So yeah,
he has to.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're good. That's what I was thinking. Now what I'm kind of seeing too, and after Blake kind of mentioned all this stuff, I can see Cardona grabbing that damn belt to end the Homecoming and climbing up that ladder and ending the show and causing more fucking chaos. I'm all in for that shit. I would love to see that kind of end Homecoming right now.
He slipped in towards the in the middle of the match there. He said, whoever climbs that ladder and grabs the title is the champion. So maybe he finds a way to get involved.
And he's getting a little bit more physical in the ring as well.
Yeah. So, I think he started back to working out light work like a month ago or 2 months ago, right? So, I mean, he's on the way to rehab. So, good for him. Hopefully.
I'm excited. I was shocked just to see the effort Blake and Mance in the time that they got in this match. That was cool for Toronto to get. That was an old school just fight for GCW supremacy, and that's what I loved about it. And they delivered, as you said, they gelled well together. I enjoyed for two heels working to fuck over every crowd and for themselves. I thought they told a great story in this matchup, and that was a cool way to end GCW. Like, it left a bunch of question marks, and now with Megan hurt, what's Joey gonna do? I thought that was a great way to end that show.
We just have so many colorful people at GCW right now that we didn't have a year ago. That's so much. It's just so exciting. And then you put all these storylines in here that I think I was telling you about this a little bit before we went on air here, but I was listening to a Twitter space with Gabe Sapolsky, and he was talking about how there is this gap between independent wrestling and then the professional wrestling you'd see on WWE or AEW. And he said one of the biggest things that there is a lack of storylines. And a lot of promoters say, well, we can't get guys to keep to certain dates and whatnot. And what Gabe was primarily saying was you just can't live on matchups. And we found that as GCW fans, that's actually true. You can only have this matchup against this matchup so many times. And our first year was just us going, oh, this matchup, that matchup, look at that tope, look at, and we didn't have as much to bite on. And now that we have that, it gives us so much more room for creativity to talk about what may happen. And it just puts the professional in professional wrestling when you actually have real storylines that go somewhere, because fans need that. It's obvious. We have watched the greatest company out there, WWE, who is a billion-dollar machine, rely on storylines more than anything else. They're out there doing the sizzle more than the steak. And GCW does both very well. Get that under control, and I think we have something special. But, what separates, say, TNA and GCW right now? Well, TNA is working with WWE almost exclusively. What are they doing that GCW is not doing? And vice versa. Those are things that need to be talked about and thought about. One of the things I think are important that TNA is doing that GCW wasn't was storylines. I think that really does matter. That's one of the things outside of many others. But it's a step in the right direction. Definitely. We have people
definitely giving us a lot to talk about.
We need it. And you know what? This is what's important. Online presence. It's giving the fans something to talk about. You don't have to sit there and blow your own fucking whistle. There are 13,000 fans or more out there doing it for you. Mance this, Mance that, Cardona this. I can guarantee you Mance Warner is now more engaged on social media platforms than he's ever been before.
Oh, that's easily.
We're seeing the most creative, best turned up volume of Mance Warner that I think he could possibly give us. And I really hope that equates to something good for him, because this so far has been the year of Mance for sure. I can't think of another person that has made such waves in GCW. Of course, you know, Blake has his amazing run, and that is a record run, but Blake is not as disruptive to the entire roster and show as Mance has been consistently. Blake has been a troublemaker, but consistently Mance is fucking up half of a show at a time sometimes. So just take that for what it is there. Yeah. Anything else you have to say about this GCW Worst Behavior? We covered it pretty good.
Yeah, I just love the ending, love the story, getting into it. It was a good show. Very good, strong show. A lot of matchups that I want to see happen again in some way or another. I thought it was a very strong Toronto show again.
All right.
We're going deep. Yes, we're going to quickly run down this IWS GCW Scarred for Life card. As John said at the beginning, we're probably going to just cover just the GCW talent that was involved and kind of the stories, as we are getting into almost now 3 hours of this podcast and don't want to go too much longer. So yeah, we'll kind of quickly go through here. And it's kind of funny though. We did get one thing. I forgot who said it last week. It might have even been Reed, I think, or somebody, but we kind of got a little bit of something that they asked for last week in this show as well.
What's that?
The GCW world title.
Oh yeah. Let's see. Reed just said, I hear there was the start of an Effie story. Was there? Making me think now. Reed's like, fuck it, I'll just throw it out there. No, I honestly don't know, Reed. And this is sad too, because I spent like 14 hours on all this shit. So who knows? Yeah, we'll go ahead and go into this show here. Yeah, IWS GCW Scarred for Life, L'Olympia, Montreal, Quebec, Canada. We are back for a Sunday show in Montreal. Gorgeous venue. I do love this place. The stage perfectly frames the ring on hard cam. I love the IWS opening of going live in the theater and showing it on screen the way they did. I'm a big fan of unofficially going live on camera before they officially go live. I love their entire presentation. I felt it was well thought out, giving us the feeling of being there, but also cutting back to full screen video packages when it was important. I like that hybrid style. I only had so much time to watch so much wrestling given my weekend. So that's why Brent's saying we kind of had to pick and choose on this IWS show. The only match that had a GCW wrestler that I didn't cover, I believe, was the Masha match. Everything else, there were 4 other matches that had GCW performers that were covered. So I wanted to let everybody know ahead of time we have 4 of them covered, but by all means, go to Triller Plus and check out that IWS show if you get a chance, because it is such a different show to watch, and I like it. I like it.
I like their presentation, as you brought up too. Their presentation's solid. I think we noticed that right away. The first time they went over there, when we first started this podcast, we were talking about their presentation, how professional it looked.
Yeah, it's nice. It shows when someone puts effort into things like that. People like us who tear apart things all day, we notice those things. And, you know, just like when Brett put those 2 TVs up, you know, and they were at the UCC and whatnot, man, that really did upgrade the entire show. Funny thing. All righty, on to this first match. The first one that I have here is that Jepsen Gringo one. Do you have anything else besides that? Or I don't know how you went on this one with your notes.
I took small notes on like those other matches, but like it was just kind of like a good match.
Right.
I see the person again. Yeah, I did like that. The hardcore notes are let's see, I got the Gringo, all the same matches you guys, the ones I got too.
Okay.
So
yeah,
we could cover those ones. That's the ones I got the most depth in my notes, at least.
Perfect. Okay, so yeah, the first match here, IWS World Heavyweight Title Hardcore match. Our champion Carl Jepsen will be going up against Gringo Loco. I'm a huge fan of both wrestlers. No lie. I was sold when I found out it was for the world heavyweight title. I was laughing at Gringo catching heat, singing the U.S. national anthem. He knew he'd be looked at like a face from the crowd. So good move getting that heat. He also threatened to leave, and I thought it was comical. He went backstage, acted like he had a convo with the promoter, and was told he didn't wrestle then unless he got paid. And he has bills. So, also, yeah, Gringo had some pipes on him, like a high tenor. He had a good voice. Once they lock up, I can see how much bigger Jepsen is in this situation. There were lots of chairs and fighting outside the rings. And also, my biggest complaint here, the ropes were too goddamn loose. That is a real problem.
Stuff about that too.
Yes. And also, I thought, okay, no big deal. Between matches, someone should have went out there or said something or done something. Just get a couple guys out there. Excuse me, tighten that thing up real quick, because that can really screw up some things. Jepsen's tope into the crowd was fantastic.
That was nuts.
Gringo's standing Spanish fly also was very impressive to me. Our winner here retains the title, Carl Jepsen. So there we go on that one. Anything else you can think of on that one?
Solid match. When we were talking about this last week, Carl was not the one I had originally thought that we were talking about. But yeah, when he came out and I saw who the Carl Jepsen was, I immediately went back to oh yeah, he was solid. And this match with Gringo should be a good one for him. And Gringo, another opportunity at another piece of gold that you always ask for. I was kind of I was wondering what you were thinking of that going into this match too, with kind of being bigger man and Gringo possibly getting a chance to hold the IWS championship would have been cool. But yeah, Carl, that dive was the shocking part to me. It's like that is a big man flying out there and into the crowd. On top of that, I was like, this crowd's gonna get squished and killed. But I enjoyed it, and Carl's absolutely had a crazy banger of a match against Gringo, and way more impressive than I remember seeing him last time. So it's cool seeing him as the champion and improve as much as he has. And this was a good showcase match for him on a GCW ring / IWS. The next match that we're going to cover is a tag team match, as it was Le Tabernacle des Team. Matthew St. Jacobs versus Thomas Dubois going against Team Bussy.
All right. So Montreal is definitely Bussy country. That was very easily heard right off the bat. But Le Tabernacle was the team making their return to IWS. This was more of a serious match to put over Tabernacle in this situation. We weren't seeing as much joking from the Bussy side. Tables came out. One of them was really strong, we'll say. Our winner here, Le Tabernacle, with a power bomb on Effie. Fans really ate up this match. It was all about putting over Le Tabernacle, and they did a damn good job with that.
Yeah, Tabernacle was, I remember we loved seeing them the first time we covered them. And yeah, Team Bussy, I know they go, especially those two, Effie and Ali, go quite often back to Canada and that IWS territory and do a couple shows throughout the year. So that was kind of cool seeing how much the crowd has taken a liking to them outside of just GCW. And to me, that was actually kind of shocking that they were more of the fan favorites than Team Day Tabernacle. But this was fun. It was a good match, and same thing. Tabernacle has improved, and as you noticed, I enjoyed it. That was a more serious matchup to put over Tabernacle instead of the fun stuff to put over Bussy as normal. So I was kind of glad to see Team GCW give back to IWS at this point in the show.
I need to. I didn't want to. I need to ask Effie or Ali when I get a chance. Is there possibly another championship run left in Bussy? Their last tag team championship run was the one that I felt like gained them so much respect amongst the fans.
And they wrestled teams from all over the place and had crazy matches too. And I loved that. It got to showcase the tag teams in a bunch of different cities and quote unquote territories we don't often see. So I enjoyed their tag run, but Effie kind of had a point, and I agree with him here. He was the one who beat Mance Warner. And I kind of said, I think we were talking about this last week. What's going to happen now with Effie after this match? I hope he doesn't go just back to doing Team Bussy stuff and being like that kind of stuff. Like, he just had the independent storyline of the year and came out the victor in that storyline.
Yeah.
But it's Mance who's getting the title shots, and Effie's back to doing these kind of matches. And now getting a match with Sean Ross Sapp, like,
yeah,
I don't know. I agree that I think Effie should be booked a lot stronger than he has been coming out of this feud. And I don't know. I don't know if a tag team run is what I want to see from Effie and Allie right now. I would like to see more Allie having these good matches that she's had with oh my God, what's her name from last week? Megan Bain and oh my God, the girl from Texas that they had. I just want to see her in these matches.
Oh yeah, Dolce Tormenta.
There we go. That's what I want to see from now, Allie and Effie. Like, go and do these shows and do these matchups where you got to get together as a team and have fun matchups. But when it's just them two, I want to see them being booked strongly and being more as a threat, as kind of what we were seeing Effie over the last few months was being booked as a threat. And so was Allie, kind of getting all these big matches. But now Effie's back to teaming with Bussy. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, I've mentioned it before. I'll mention it again here. Blake Christian always talked about the fact that once a champion loses his championship, he can go into obscurity if he doesn't have a smart exit strategy to enter into his next storyline. So Effie falls on his feet with SRS as his next, major hurdle. Now, if you look at it from name value and who knows who more, does Mance or does Effie have a greater opponent right now? See, because SRS is better well known than, say, any of Mance's opponents, Janela, and you see what I'm saying? There's more presence there and whatnot. So Effie would technically have a more high profile match on his hands there. Now, would it be more of a match or would it be more of a fun kind of, it would be more of a fun kind of thing. And I do like that SRS does donate the money that he earns from these shows. So I'll give him that much. But let's see. I'd rather see Allie and Sheik explored as a team while Effie is positioned as the next contender. Okay, that's another thing we should talk about here too, is I think it would be nice, because we talked about it a week or two ago, maybe having Effie just go ahead and do singles. I think he is starting to get too big for his britches in the tag department. And also, Allie's been with him for the longest time. Allie also needs to detach and become her own person again. And we need to see that. I'm not saying need, but the fans kind of need to see, can she swim on her own? And is that something she's capable of? And I think maybe putting Allie with Sheik would be kind of a great way to go for right now, because they I don't know, they kind of swim in the same vein, and I feel like they're sisters at heart.
And you could always go back to Bussy and Thrusty and
anytime.
No problem, not a single thing. Boom, go back to it. But I'm the same way. I agree with you. And great one. I'd rather see Allie be booked strong as her own. Like I've been loving those matches she's been having with Megan and Dulce, and I would love to see her against a Jody Threat. Would have been fun even, and stuff like that's where I think Allie excels at too. But like I said, when you throw Bussy back, they can do their fun little thing and then boom, break off again. But I want to see them kind of go off on their own and swim on their own and see what happens, because Bussy you could always go back to, but then I think we've also not ran its course, but we've seen all the matchups and different styles and everything else over these last 2 years with them, and especially when they were the tag team champions. Without getting repetitive, I would like to see them do new stuff on their own.
And it may be controversial to the independent scene, and it may not, but I kind of fall on the WWE side a little bit of having a women's champion, and I know that's null and void in independent wrestling, but I go back. I actually spent some time doing this, and I'm not going to get too far into it, but women fought really hard for a very long time to wrestle and be seen as someone equal in professional wrestling. And I feel like not celebrating females as their own group at some point here and there would be really kind of crappy to do. Because I'm just saying, like, if you've beat down a door to get into the party, you don't just want to kind of just fit in when you get there. You want to kind of make your own splash. And, without getting too far into it, I feel like that women should be celebrated. That's coming from a man's point of view. And I feel like putting everybody just in the mix can sometimes just make it a mix. And that's perfectly fine. But at the same time,
lost in the mix.
A lot of people get lost in the mix. And I would say that GCW has some of the best female performers out there, be it they fight with men or women or whomever. And I do think that should be celebrated for what we have. We have Megan Bain, we have Allie Catch, we have Masha, and we don't have a division celebrating them is very interesting. But again, it's personal preference and only my opinion. And I am old school, so don't kill me too much. I see that when you have an excellent trumpet player, you don't just say you got a great band. Maybe you have a song that emphasizes the strength of the trumpet player. I don't know.
Yeah, I can see like Cardona doing something to bring back that belt too for SDL to kind of help her elevate her.
Oh yeah,
further. And then that could kickstart the title again, since it's on. I believe Deonna Purrazzo is the last holder, and we know Brett's not going to strip her, so might as well have Matt Cardona stripper of the belt.
I just know that there was a time where we had like one, maybe two females at all during a show.
Allie
like
versus
sometimes,
this person, yeah.
Allie versus whatever local was in the area they were in. So
now you got Payne, Masha, SDL, all these reoccurring female.
Maki, I would like Rena. To see holy crap.
Yeah.
Come on. This is the strongest a women's division could possibly be in GCW historically. So I just say, as an idea, and nothing against anyone, I'm just saying that if I had a bunch of great trumpet players right now, I'd be trying to see if there was a way that I could emphasize those strengths in my band, even if it's maybe just a one-night women's event, tournament style. Give it to us.
A new champion, yeah.
Fuck yes. And then make them defend it, because half the other belts aren't even on TV anyway. Why not celebrate one of our greatest women's champions or men's or whomever? But let's put an emphasis on this, because right now GCW is in a position, much better position than they were in 2 years ago when it comes to sports entertainment, when it comes to being more on the big screen. This bounce back was still happening 2 years ago with COVID. We're 2 years past that now, even from the bounce back. So we're in a great position, and I'm not against trying some new things. Obviously, Brett and Cardona aren't against trying some new things. We'll see what happens. That's all I have to say about that one.
All right. Our next matchup is for the GCW World title, as the quote-unquote one of our champions. Mance Warner defends the belt against the Green Phantom. And last week, somebody in the chat said they hope Green Phantom wins to throw all the chaos of the ladder match into even more chaos and drama. And they almost got their wish here, and I almost popped big time at the end. And I popped that this match was good for what it was. I didn't catch why it was only a 10-minute thing there, so I was kind of completely lost of what the hell happened at the end. But I did love how the ending did kind of throw some suspense in there.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, this match was very interesting here. I'll just go right into it. Phantom was out first. Manser then came out next. He says something on the mic and I can't hear it, but that's not his fault. Finally, the audio does improve enough to where I can understand. He was just working the fans. I love that. But he said the world title is on the line if Phantom can beat him in under 10 minutes. This was something okayed by Cardona. Yeah. This is where I felt IWS would have benefited from having a timer on screen. It would have maybe built a little more of the, So Phantom pulls up. He puts up one hell of a fight. He then pulls out a table with "Get with the Green" painted on the front of it, which I thought was an awesome look. Mance was swinging chairs, being almost abusive with the beatdown he was putting on Phantom. Phantom then gets on top of chairs, planted Warner on his head, and a leg of the chair went up Phantom's ass. Hour 2, minute 17, 30 seconds in. Phantom has a weed whacker. Mance steals it and uses it on him. Phantom's chest is completely lit up. Phantom pins, but didn't do it within the time. Our winner here was Mance Warner. This was another heel fucking over the face, and I think it was well done. Let me go back for a second there. Did you see Phantom get a leg of the chair up his own ass on accident?
No, that's why I was like, I've got to write that time down so I can go back and check it out because I totally missed that part.
Yeah. So yeah, let's see. Yeah. 2:17:30. If you go look, they're on top of the chairs. And when he comes down, you can literally see him reach around and grab the fucking leg of the chair and pull it out from behind him. So I don't think he just rammed a thing up, but I'm saying it.
I'm not watching that.
I'm not saying he cut the bread. I'm just saying he almost attempted to slice the bread. You know what I mean? But no, it wasn't anything crazy. It was just it positioned right, and he was like, "Hello." So, okay, great one here. Maybe if you want to experiment without actually making a belt, let Maki only defend the Extreme title against women in her upcoming run. Build on her one title defense being against Sandra so far. Yeah, that's true. She's only had that one. Also, I'd almost see Green Phantom has a claim to being a fourth participant in the ladder match in AC, but that may be just a bit much. You know what though? I mean, if Green Phantom was in regular, if Green Phantom was in regular rotation more and the storyline called for it, yeah, he could be right there. That's an interesting way to put it. Anything else on this this draw, this 10-minute draw?
I just popped like when I saw like it happening. I'm like, they're gonna fucking do it, man. Phantom's gonna like, cause I said I didn't hear the whole 10-minute thing at the beginning. Like that's why I was like, what? Why is the bell ringing? Like I was totally confused at the end, and then like I heard like, oh, there's a 10-minute time limit. So I was like, I must have completely missed all the beginning. But I was kind of I loved being intrigued, and I was like, Green Phantom's gonna do it. He's gonna be in the ladder match. Let's just have Money in the Bank 10 people jumping for the GCW World Title match. I liked it though. As you said, it played it perfect with the heel fucking with the face, and that is perfect for everything that Mance is doing right now. And I thought this was a fun match for what it. And 10 minutes, I can't complain about it. It did what it did its purpose in a short amount of time, which is good for wrestling. That's for sure.
All right, we have one last match in us, brother. We've done this.
All right, let's do this match. The last match of GCW versus IWS Scarred for Life was a death match, as it was PCP Manny going against Joey Janela, who's filling in for Nick Gage, and I thought that is the perfect person for Joey to fill in for Nick Gage is Joey. And once I saw that, I kind of expected all the same craziness and fuckery that I was expecting from a Nick Gage PCP Manny match. If not, actually probably more so, just considering Joey's probably willing to do a little bit more crazier shit than Nick is at this point in their careers, as well as PCP Manny seems like he wants to go out with a bang. And this match against Joey Janela is one of those matches where he could go viral and have a moment for himself that he would have gotten with Nick Gage. So I was happy for him at least to get the matchup against Joey Janela. And this was exactly what I thought it was going to be. Just chaos all over the place. It went outside. I did not expect it to go outside. But I expected just extreme chaos, and that's what I got. And I was happy for Manny to get a moment at the end of the show for all the hard work he's done out there for IWS and letting GCW come and play in their home.
You know, I'm starting to notice that if you have a major match with Manny, you're going to have a major spot somewhere. Someone's going to get cut. Someone's going to get thrown off of something. I'm okay with that. As long as the performers that are going into the match know, hey, some crazy shit might go down here. I mean, it's on. Yeah. I didn't expect what Joey did in this match to happen at all, especially since he has a huge match coming up. You know?
I didn't even think about that part. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a great idea. Let's go out there and blow a joint while you're fucking getting ready to go here. All right, this death match, PCP Manny versus Joey Janela. This was a 16-minute match. They filled it very well. A hot start, fists were exchanged before the bell could ring. Immediately to the outsides where they go. There was a lot of table-tastic action. A ring skirt was removed just to get to the weapons quicker. We had chair platforms, a box of tacks, a partially broken bundle of tubes, and all kinds of other fun stuff. Masha, Effie, and Allie come out to beat on Manny also. About halfway, probably towards the end of the match, they all pour outside where Manny is laid across some tables. Joey climbs the ladder on top of a truck and smokes a cigarette and dives off onto Manny. Eventually, everyone makes it back to the ring. Manny looks dead, but he is their fighter. It is not over yet. Some members of the IWS come out and clear out Effie, Ali, and Masha, and that's when the real match really got underway. Our winner here, PCP's crazy fucking Manny with a junkie driver on top of a table. And I just put here, that was a very full match. Yes, I had to look it up. Like, is it a junkie driver or is it the drunky driver? Like a drunk driver? You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought, oh, drunky driver. That's kind of cool.
PCP Manny.
Dude, that was cool. The guy is a colorful individual. You know, you got to say that. If you've ever seen his Twitter posts, he's a very colorful guy. He lives a very interesting life. And he's trying to get his shit in. He's got a career and he's trying to do what he can. And I mean, let's be honest, if you love it, you're going to do that. So mad respect to him for putting his fucking ass on the line. Every single match that GCW has showed up there.
Yeah, he's willing to do just as crazy shit as anyone else on that roster. And that is cool to see that. Like, I liked it when he cut the promo. I forgot. I think it was at the Toronto show the night before when he was cutting a promo, just leaning all into the heel work and willing to put the others over. Like, that's a good promoter there. Like, I don't know much about him. I know he seems fucking crazy. His Twitter account's just off the wall, but he's willing to put his mouth money where his mouth is. And it seems like if he is like the promoter over there, like if he's asking you to do something, you know, he's willing to do what he's asking you to do. Like, kind of like a Vince McMahon. I know it's a bad comparison, but like, you know, like he's not going to ask you to do something that he's not willing to do. So I think that's very cool as a leader and a promoter. And just seeing him, like when he's out there, like I expect him fully to, if he goes out and something happens to him in the ring, that's where he wants something to happen to him. And he just seems like he's willing, as you said, if he's willing to go crazy, then let him go crazy. And Joey Janela is one to go crazy with him.
I think that he's still attempting to end it all in the ring one day. That guy, no. Okay, look, maybe this is the best way to put it. He loves what he does so much. If he was gone in the ring, I think he would consider it art. Like, it would be, you know, perfect ending kind of thing. So, Manny's a wild one, man. I kind of like that. And for his age too, good for him. I have to say that because he's not 25. So,
right.
Yeah, but that's why I was saying earlier, man, between him, Phantom, and Eddie, that one tag match that they had, that was 75 years of wrestling experience there. Cannot deny that whatsoever. So let's see here. I think we covered that one.
Yeah, I thought that was a good way to end the show. Joey jumping off, creating a viral moment, and PCP Manny getting the victory over Joey. I thought that was cool.
Man, you want me to go ahead and run down these upcoming shows and we will get everybody the hell out of here?
Yes, let's head on and do that.
Yeah, we're looking at over 375 people in here. It's 2:10 a.m. in the morning on the East Coast. So thank you everyone for tuning in here. Yeah, let's rock these upcoming shows and get the hell out of here for the night. All right, so our next upcoming show will be Thursday, July 18th. This is GCW Believe Me from Headliners Music Hall in Louisville, Kentucky. We have Mance Warner versus Myron Reed, Nick Gage and Too Tough Tony versus the Rejects, Billy Starks versus Rachel Armstrong, Masha Slamovich versus We Do Not Know Yet. It was originally going to be Jordan, given his injury, so we're going to keep that one open.
Mason versus Masha, that'd be fun.
Ooh. You know, what if Masha said, I'm doing this for Jordo?
Defending now? GCW champion, yeah. Could see it.
Yeah, and then what happens if that title gets lost to Mason?
Oh, I forgot this was the title holder. Jesus.
I
I'm thinking former title holder for some reason. I forgot. It's been a while. It's just been a while. No offense.
Yeah, there's a path to gold at all times. Effie versus Sean Ross Sapp will be going down that same day. Hoodfoot versus Broski Jimmy. Welcome back, Hoodfoot. And then there will be an appearance by Effie. Well, no, I have to take that out now. Well, I mean, I didn't lie. There will be an appearance by Effie, but yeah, he's with Sean Ross Sapp there. All right, on to our next night. This will be Friday, July 19th. GCW So High from Pop's Nightclub in Sauget, Illinois. Mance Warner versus Hoodfoot. Sydney Akeem versus Myron Reed, Masha Slamovich versus Danhausen, Los Desperados versus Bang and Matthews, Bussy versus the Rejects, Janela Suss versus Blake Christian and Shane Mercer, and there will also be appearances by Violence is Forever and Nick Gage. Again, that's Friday, July 19th. Our last one, this is a very busy weekend, Saturday, July 20th, GCW's Don't Tell Me What to Do from the Marriott East in Indianapolis, Indiana. We have Nick Gage versus Hoodfoot, the Rejects versus Myron Reed, and someone else we don't know just yet. This was originally going to be Oliver and Reed. Next, we have Nate Webb versus Broski Jimmy, Violence is Forever versus Mother Father, Mance Warner versus Megan Bain, and our last two appearances that we're showing right now are going to be Nick Gage and Matt Cardona and Zilla Fatu. I got to get my notes together here. You had a look on your face. What are you thinking?
How quickly Cage Match has removed Jordan and replaced Jordan with question marks on Cage Match for those upcoming shows.
Seriously? Really?
Yeah, they're question marks. Masha versus now question marks, and then Rejects versus Myron Reed and question marks.
Very interesting. Huh. Wonder what the heck that's about.
I don't know. There's something that came up.
Nice. Well, I put the Slam Chats thing up here also. So if anybody whatsoever would like to donate to Slam Chats, that's for the bodyslam.net team. People like us out there. Not necessary, but if you ever wanted to give, by all means, that would be the place to do it. So I wanted to put that out there real quick because we always forget.
Right.
Oh my gosh. Okay. To all the people who came in tonight, thank you so much. You guys are great. I love having a chat room full of educated wrestling fans. So in case you or I say something off, they can be like,
Oh, I love them.
I love
me all these things. Yep.
Yeah. If you think people are the type that are touchy, we aren't them. If you're going to correct us and make sure we don't sound like a bunch of dumbasses, thank you.
Yes.
We appreciate it. It'd be better than me sitting here and going on a 20-minute thesis on something and I'm wrong on the main point. So okay, so we did that. We did this. I think we did the damn thing, dude. This was a heavy episode.
Yeah, it's my bedtime right now. That's perfect timing.
Oh man. So yeah, we went 3 hours and 15 minutes here tonight. This is a beautiful one.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Is there anything else?
Well, I just want to promote next week. Perch, referee Perch will be on with us. So any questions you might have, you could save it for the chat and ask next week, or send us DMs and send us the questions that you would like for us to ask the man himself, Perch. I know I got 1 hour with Perch by myself. I got to have an hour. I got to figure out what the hell happened in this Jordan Mason match. Then after that, you all could get your hour, whatever time after that. I need to figure out some questions here during that Mason Jordan match.
I got money that the very first part of that match where Mason went outside to grab a chair and kill time, there was questions for a minute. I think there was that first time where Mason went out, grabbed a chair, kind of killed time walking around the ring. That's usually a referee going, let's see what the situation is real quick before we move on to the match.
I heard a bell. And then I remember them talking about referees' discretion to keep the wrestler safe. And now Jordan's showing the fight back. Referee showing discretion to not have that bell. So yeah, that kind of threw me off as well. But I do have many more questions for Perch other than that. I think Perch is going to be a fun one. I think we're going to get a lot out of Perch and learn a lot more than what we all think we even know about the man himself. He seems like he's going to be a very fun interview, just with all the fun stuff he posts on social media and all about his experiences and everything. I'm very much looking forward to that one.
Oh boy. All right. Well, thank you for everyone tuning in. Thank you to GCW and Talents for being supportive of what we do here. Thank you to our families who put up with us with all this obnoxious shit that we do every day.
Right.
I think that's everybody. That's listeners. It's us.
Yes.
You're on show 101.
Oh yeah,
you're in the hundreds now, bro.
I'm old. I'm getting old now.
I got a couple more, and I'll hit my 100 here soon.
I gotta get the balloons ready for that one.
Yeah, I'll get a streamer. My wife will throw a fucking streamer and beat me in the head with it. It's gonna happen. All right, everyone.
Yes, thank you, Reed. Great one.
Oh my gosh,
everyone else,
Reed.
Skittle. Nate for hopping on here, spending
Kev,
some time talking with
Elwick.
us. Kev, yeah,
Shit.
Elwick, Ash. We got some GoPro people in here tonight. Frank,
Tight spot.
DJ Luda. Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you,
DJ Luda.
everyone.
Yeah, John Ash. It was nice to see John show up too. That's pretty damn cool.
Yeah,
we've said so many nice things.
Stuff. Yeah,
we've said so many nice things, and it's nice for someone to be able to kind of hear it. Hopefully, so.
Thanks,
Kev,
man.
later, man.
Appreciate it, man.
All right, we ready to roll this one?
Let's send him out of here.
I can't breathe on this long. Live.
G
C
C W.
Have a good night.